Peace, YouTube. Peace to the east, the west, the north, and the south. I was just gonna burp. Check on in. I know I'm here early. Check on in. Welcome, everyone. This is day 7. No, 6. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 7. This is day 7 of our Aquaterra fast. Check on in. I'm here nice and early. Blissful full moon in Virgo. Peace, peace, peace. Blissful Sunday. I'll wait until a few more of you check in. I don't know if everybody gets their notifications, so I hope you do. Feeling real swazy on this Sunday. I was having a hard day. Like yesterday, that full moon was coming in. You know, I'm not a fan of the moon because it is a satellite used for control. So, I was having odd cravings. I contacted one of the sea stars. I was like, what is up with the craving for meat? I was like, I haven't had that since the 90s. Check on him. So we're gonna get into the shenanigans today. Hey Libra. We're gonna get into the shenanigans today. You be eating though. On blood types. How relative. Hey Narda. Hey April. Hey my loves. Hey Dee. Griffin. Hey Linda. Hey Sister Sirius. Hey Kareem. Hey Salou. Hey Yafi. You know Purim, the Jewish Halloween, it's tomorrow? Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. Yafi just told us the Jewish Halloween is tomorrow. Oh, something's gonna pop off. Thank you, Yafi. See, we need to know all the holidays so we can know what's popping off, especially the Jewish holidays, because the Zionists are all in that neck of the wood in that genre. Ooh, I didn't know that. Yafi, thank goodness you're here. I'm so grateful. How did I fast? I fasted. Yeah, fasting. I had a hard time yesterday, though. I won't lie. Yes, it was weird. It's a full moon. I'm not a fan of the moon. Y'all know, if you are newer to my channel, you already know the moon. I know the moon to be a satellite, and that satellite controls our ebbs and flows. And every time there's a full moon, it makes me feel off. So I have to do things to ground myself during the full moon. I'm not a fan of the moon. I'm best, when they say best served warm, I'm best served during a new moon. You want to come out with me and party? Come out with me during a new moon. I feel amazing. The moon is a control system, especially for females. We feel it more so. So check on it. Anyway, so I'm going to get into the blood types and the reconfiguration of the hierarchy in the ET community. Oh, there's a battle for who's going to head home court advantage in the next cycle. It's amazing. So check on in. I wanted to talk about, we always, one thing with me, and I don't think it really annoys you guys. I think that's probably the best thing you like about me is that I'm really big into genetics. Remember, I started early in my primary years, working in heredity and genetics, primarily studying Alzheimer's, Parkinson, dementia, working in a laboratory with scientists. And I was always fascinated. And at the same point, all of us in the lab were actually looking at extraterrestrial DNA. That's back when the internet just started. Remember when the World Wide Web was just starting and you could see alien autopsies? So we used to kind of see if we knew people there that looked like ETs and their blood matched it. So that's how, just to give you an undertone, it's over the 7 years, so there is no arrest that can be made. I passed the statute of limitation, so I won't get in trouble. Thank goodness and graciously, gratefully. I could say this now. Years ago, I couldn't say this because I'm saying, I'm about that life. I'm really about that extraterrestrial life, and I'm really much more of a researcher than anything else. So, I really used to, if I'm going to talk about it, I'm going to be about it. So I really used to do my own personal research, me and my homies, my cronies, my scientific. And then I have Dr. Charles. I'll say Dr. Charles. Big up to Dr. Charles. He contacted me just recently. We were in the We were in the laboratory, and oh my god, my other crony. We were like, we were the geek squad. Listen, we were geeky and so grateful. See, nowadays to be geeky, people probably talk about you, but back then we were okay with it. You know what I mean? They made movies like the nerds. They made movies about our geekiness, so we were okay being geeky. You resemble Dawn from Envelope. Who's that? Dawn from Envelope? Who's Dawn from Envelope? I don't know who that is. Thank you. I hope they're okay. Um, oh, take a sip for the haters. The haters. Listen, haters, because I know you come in here just to put a handy dandy. Like every time you give me a like, you're going to give me. Listen, this is going to be interesting. Every time you put a dislike on my video, you're going to actually send in resources. So every time I get a dislike, the haters give me dislikes. They're going to give me 1,000 resources. I'm actually using alchemy. So haters, let me take a sip for you. And every time you put a dislike on my video, I'm taking that energy and you're actually going to pay me an energy, 1,000 of anything resourceful I need. Whether it's for, I do all kinds of things for my tinctures, for the sanctuary. So you're actually donating to me. So I'm taking your energy and I'm going to utilize it. So thank you. So for all the haters, here's your sip. That's my tea. And every time I'm so grateful. So, every time I'm going to utilize all the energy, I'm going to be very resourceful. Booyah. So thank you. Thank you in advance. So every time you put a dislike, all these resources, all this abundance will come from all over. And I'm grateful. Thank you. So anyway, let me stop antagonizing the haters. Oh, so before we get into the blood types, we're going to talk about the reconfiguration of blood type. But let me see if any of our West Indian sea stars are on here. Mostly the Jamaican sea stars should know what this is. I got this. I didn't know, and I should have been warned. I got this yesterday. Wait. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have given you it first. Okay, so who on here knows what this is? Oh, thank you, Ticia. Ticia, I could see that on my proton. Does anyone know what this is? Busy tea? Let's see if my West Indians know what it is. Where are my yardies? Let me see my yardies on here. Let's see who knows what busy tea is. It's tea, but what? Kola nut. Yes, my loves. But what is it for? What is it for? Let's see, because the Jamaican sea strain and brethren should know. Oh my God, we have some. Okay, yeah, there we go. Oh, we got our West Indians on here. Big up to all the yardies in the house. I love it. It's detox, yeah. So, but listen, I didn't get a warning. So I went yesterday to get the spa. Big up to, I'm going to talk about the spa and that. I'm going to get into blood types because you guys don't like when I sidebar too much at the beginning. So I will post it, but I also got the tincture. So this is good to have in your tincture. I'm going to do a whole thing on Patreon of my tincture, my different tinctures to have. We're going back to herbalism, my sea stars. So we're going back to our medicinal ways. So I got the Kola nut. This is really, really good. This is phenomenal. This has to be in your repertoire. This actually is from West Africa. Even though in the West Indies they use it, it actually is from West Africa. So our West Africans should know. But this is like a secret squirrel herb that nobody talks about. Only Jamaicans know about it or other West Indians. So this is for all of y'all. I'm giving you a gem today. Okay, this is Kola nut, the best. It is a detox. They use it for everything. When they get sick, they get a bellyache, they get poisoned. There's like something going on, like you get a like gout. When you have when you've like it clears your whole system. It's like an antibiotic in itself. So anyway, I went to the spa yesterday. Big up to my Victoria, who does. I went to the Turkish spa. I love to do my Hamas. So I did my Hamas yesterday. I went to the Turkish spa, and Victoria is my favorite. If ever you come to Orlando, you go to Victoria. She's amazing, and I don't like how they treated her yesterday. I don't want to go into that now, but I love her. She's from Ukraine. She's amazing, and she gave me some great information about Dubai and also Cairo. So big up to our African diaspora and our Middle Eastern diaspora from Dubai and also Cairo. We went into that. I'll make a whole, when I do sidebars later, maybe just remind me that there's so much stuff I could talk to you about. Sea stars, I've got some wonderful, wonderful intel from Victoria. She's amazing. She gave me my Hamas. Remember Saturn day? It's my 6th day of my fast yesterday. I was suggested to get my massages on Saturday because of the fast, and it was amazing. But it really, really made me really, really feel it. Anyway, so let's go into blood types and the reconfiguration of the hierarchy. Okay, family, we got a reestablishment of home court advantage. I told you. Okay, blood types matter. Matter. Big up to all my blood types in here. So remember, in the last cycle, the primary roost that was in home court advantage was negative roost. Big up to all my negative roosts in here. Big up to all you negative roosts. You've held home court advantage for the last 2 centuries. You've held home court advantage, you negative roosts. Y'all should pat yourself on the shoulder. You had your negative roost. Y'all held down. All presidents had your negative roosts. How come I can't say? All presidents had negative roosts. Y'all held it down. Y'all remember negative roosts are they're not all negative roosts because the other ones could be cloned. Anything cloned becomes negative, so I have to be careful with that. But negative roosts are off-world blood. These are beings that haven't been here that long, galactically. Okay, so a lot of them are hybrids. All right, that's why they're sometimes they seem very cold, it's not cold, it's just they're very how could I say this? Very scientific in the way that their emotions show up. Very different. They can seem a little detached, but those are a lot of times you get your scientists and mathematicians. They come from that roost. A lot of times. Okay, so big up to y'all in home court advantage. Y'all had it for like the last 2 or 3 centuries. Big up to y'all. You've held it down, but I will give you some news. Home court advantage has changed because we're going in the inversion. So as above, so below. Now we're switching. We're going, remember the pole shift is happening, but there's a shift in energy and there's a shift in hierarchy. Last home court advantage was male patriarchy. That was lunar males. Lunar males held home court advantage for the last couple centuries. Okay. And it was negative roost. So negative roost, lunar males. It was in patriarchy. It was male based. So anyone who was a male who was a lunar who had negative roost held home court advantage. And anyone who had negative roost was in that alignment. Okay? So people of color, obviously you're at the bottom of that tier if you're negative roost, but you're still part of them. Because that's why a lot of times people of color who had negative roost were held in high esteem. A lot of times if you look on, I'm almost sure Oprah, I think, is Oprah negative roost? I think she might be negative roost. All of the people of color that have been held in high esteem on a lot of networks and in the scientific community were negative roost. And remember years ago, big up to all my negative roosts in Haiti and Dominican Republic. Now remember years ago I did the show on Aquarius Rizing and I had a sea star come on and I found out she was negative roost. And then I started to unravel that negative roost was all up in Dominican Republic in the Caribbean, in Dominican Republic and Haiti. And I was like, oh, snap, that makes sense. Because they have very extraterrestrial abilities. These are the ones that ran the French out of there because they were killing them all with their magic. They have the heightened, they're heightened as far as abilities. Okay, so it made sense. I realized this years ago. It was so interesting. Now, not all Haitians and Dominicans have it, but there's a height more than you know. See, I didn't know until one of the sea stars came in, and then a few of them came on saying they were negative roosts from Haiti. So I said, wait a second. I thought y'all would be positive because a lot of the Caribbean is hidden with the nega. The nega has that, that heightened amount of positive roosts. So I was like, that's weird. So once I started to fall upon things and go through it, I was like, wait a second. There's a lot of negative roosts in Haiti and in Dominican Republic. It's not all of you, but there's a lot more than I knew. I had the assumption based on doing my own research that I just assumed based on the other Caribbean islands, them, being migrants from South and Central America, those are all mostly positive roosters. I just assumed. Okay. But I shouldn't assume it because remember, y'all are also colonized by the Judaic. Most people don't know that. That's why some Haitian people have Jewish last names. Does anyone know that? That's why Professor Jeffries got kicked out of City College. Big up to all my CCNY. I went to CCNY in New York City College, and Dr. Jeffries got kicked out of the City University. He was reestablished, and he had to apologize because it was the truth. Most of you don't know because it's not in your history books, and I got the facts because I actually, that's something else I did. I took a picture from something that I wasn't supposed to, from the Rizing library. There's a library that moves around in New York City, and it never stays around in the same place. And you can get actual history. These are books that have been censored and they're supposed to be gone. So I took a picture. The Jewish people were part of colonization. You won't hear it because they're protecting themselves. They don't want you to know they participated in the so-called slave trade. So a lot of Jewish people actually have their last names. I mean, a lot of Haitian people have their DNA and have their last names. Okay, I'm giving you a little history lesson. And if you don't believe me, you already know FleurBrun will always tell you to go check out my resources. Always fact check me. For always fact check me. Remember, I'm not a young gal anymore. I'm getting ancient. You know, I've lived a life and I was in research. So also I had some really great professors. Big up to all the professors in New York City at the time. I had some of the most amazing, eclectic, really, really, really fun professors. And they would always make us do our research. Remember, that's back in the day. See, we didn't have Google, my loves. Let me school my millennials. We didn't have Googles. So we had to go to the library and go to microfiche. Big up to all those who are seasoned. Who's on here who's seasoned? Do you remember back in the days when we had to actually sit in the library for hours? You know where my first real date was? My real crush? It was in the library. Like, I was in the library. So that's the one place my mother would let me go and I could hang out. We hung out in the library. Call me geeky. Call me geeky or whatever. Y'all remember, see? We used to hang out in the library, and we used to go and do our research through microfiche, because that's when they take pictures of different data, different newspapers, or different archive different newspapers and facts from, or different articles from back in the days. Okay, so we'd sit in many of you who know me from back in the day, some of my college brethren are on here and Sisterhood are on here. They remember we used to hang out at the New York Library downtown, and my father used to pick me up after work. I don't know if you guys remember. I used to sit there eating my frozen yogurt with my strawberries. I give you so much information. I used to be sitting afterwards eating my frozen yogurt and my strawberries on the library. It's so beautiful. They have a beautiful picture of me sitting there with my messy hair. You know, everybody says my hair is perm. Same looking crazy hair. Eating my frozen yogurt and my strawberries, and my daddy would pick me up. Yeah, we were hanging out at the library. Anyway, so back in the days, we go to the library and we do our research. So that's how I found out. That's how I knew that Professor Jeffries was telling the truth. The Jewish people did participate in the slave trade. They did. And they won't get any credit because they don't want you to know that. They give credit to the English. They give credit to the Spaniards, but they don't take credit. They want you to think that they're the abused people that have been, killed and murdered in Nazi camps. And that isn't true. And many of you don't realize in those Nazi camps, there was a lot of groups of gypsies in the camps that were being killed and euthanized. There were a lot of other groups other than Judaic people. And it was only a specific type of Jewish people they were going after. They were going after a certain type. Okay. And if they were victims of that totally, how could they take over the whole, this might be taken off. I'm going to shut up. Let me shut up. If they were victims, how could they be taken on all networks? How could every Jewish last name Goldman, all these Goldman Sachs, how could they be the head of all banking systems? Because it was bait and switch. It's almost like a firefighter setting fires so that he can be the hero. So they'll basically create a smoke screen of some sort of big event so that you think that they're all victims. And meanwhile, they're going underneath the guys, that smoke screen, that guys that, oh my gosh, we know, da da da. And then meanwhile, they take over the diamond. Go to the Diamond District in New York. Big up to all my New York brethren. They can confirm this. My New York brethren can tell you, go to the Diamond District. Who do you see in the Diamond District when you're hustling for your diamonds? It's a Judaic community. They have that all on lock. Go in New York. over for you, some of you who are visiting Rockefeller Center, go around the corner. That's the Diamond District. Go see who's go, because I remember, when I got my wedding ring, my husband got my wedding ring, and I got his wedding ring in the Diamond District. So when I went to go buy my husband's wedding ring, I wanted it to be when you design your own ring, so I wanted it designed, a certain way. So I had his ring made with the diamonds set in a certain way. So I had to go to the Diamond District and I had to hustle. And they hustle, and I got what I wanted. He loved his ring. Okay, so yeah, custom made. Thank you. It was beautiful, beautiful ring. But the Diamond District is all the Judaic, and that's the Ashkenazi community. Okay, so make sure I tell you, there's different sects of Judaic people. There's Ashkenazis, which is the Khazar Jews. They aren't native Jews. They are converts from Russia. Then there are Sephardic. Sephardic are like from Morocco, from Spain, from Africa. Those are Sephardic Jews. Those are the ones who actually have the original blood of Sheba, the actual lineage of Sheba. Okay, they're actually the 12th. They're part of the original 12 tribes. They have the DNA marker. That's why they bring the Sephardic Jews over into Israel so they can try to access the stargates. Anyway, don't have me go on this. I'll go all day. FleurBrun I'm fasting, and you will get tons of information. I'm like a walking library when I fast. I have access to everything inside of me. All those memories that I kind of forget about when I fast, I have access to it. My mind is so clear. Okay, so let me go on to how did I get into that? Please put a like on the video if you're up for the shenanigans today. It shocks me sometimes, the things I remember. You never know. It's weird. The things that come out of my mind. Okay, so I forgot how I got into this. Oh, I was getting to blood types. Okay, so we were talking about the blood types and how okay, so that's why in Haiti and in Dominican Republic, which used to be La Hispaniola, many of you who don't know Caribbean history, it used to be La Hispaniola. It was one island and one people. Okay, so that's why Haitian and Dominicans look for, they'll tell you differently, because Dominicans say their Haitians are too brown or too they have a prejudice towards Haitians because they said they're too Negro. I'm blowing spots. It's like the auntie and the grandmother who tells everybody's business. Yeah, it's true. Because the Haitians, because they had a lot of that DNA, that negative roots, they overcame the French. They were doing all kinds. They opened that portal so easily, and all the French were dying of diseases. They were up in the bush, murder. So when they got free, the Haitians, they tried to free the Dominican padre, and they did. But the Dominicans like being under rule because they had mixed so much with the Spaniard that they were already under Stockholm syndrome. They were already suffering from a strong amount of Stockholm syndrome. So because they were already indoctrinated and mixed too much with that blood. See, when you mix too much with the enemy, you become the enemy. That's why I don't trust a lot of these tribal-based native indigenous groups in the States, because too much of them have been infiltrated by the $5 Indian. And you can't trust people who mix too much with the enemy, because they don't realize too much of that quantified blood makes you the enemy. Okay, by the blood. And all of the ancestors are coming from underneath the ground right now. All of the indigenous ancestors are coming, and they're causing ish to the $5 Indian. So I don't really get involved in native politics anymore, because a lot of the $5 Indians are getting a lot of stink from the Willy Wonka and his League of Doom, because they aren't really natives. And they're getting the same thing that their ancestors actually did to the actual quantified natives. Okay? If you don't look like me, you aren't that much native. You can go back in the history books. I tell people when they get at me all the time, I was like, you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself. I look like my indigenous Carib and Arawak women. When I went into Brazil, to the natives, I look like them. So I could quantify myself, saying my DNA has not shifted so much that my physical phenotype has changed. So unless you look like me or liken like me, or have a similar copper complexion you can have straighter hair because they've been mixed with the Mongolians. They're mixed with the Asiatics. But if you don't look similar to me, you aren't quantified as an indigenous. I don't really get in those politics, because the indigenous should have more copper skin and more coily hair. The originals were actually coily hair. They look like, remember Columbus said they look like Negroes. He thought he was in Africa. Okay, so those are the original indigenous in the Northern Americas. If you don't look like that, you don't have the quantified amount of DNA to really speak on behalf of the indigenous people. So that's why there's a lot of ish going on governmentally, because you have people who think that they're indigenous based on lies, based on $5 Indian antics, and they're thinking they're speaking on behalf of the tribes, but you aren't that tribe. All of the ancestors are coming underneath the ground, and they're only contacting their own. They don't know who you are. Okay. When I saw the Cherokee kick out authentic Cherokee brown people, saying that they don't have the quantified amount of DNA, I know I'm going on a tangent. They don't have, well, I'm just, the last thing I'll say. When I saw the Cherokee nations, because they're splintered, when I saw some of the Cherokee nations questioning some of the brown Cherokee, saying that they are not quantified and their blood work does not quantify them as indigenous, I was like, that's how I knew. That is because if you were an indigenous, you would recognize your brethren and your sistren. You would be able to recognize it. DNA matters. That's why we're getting into blood types today. DNA matters. When I go places and people recognize me, they recognize my DNA before anything else. So if you can't recognize your sistren and they are actually from those lands, that means you are in scepter. You, by the nature of you being so watered down, or your ancestors paying $5 to take on the indigenous nationality, and you are taking, you're calling yourself, if you don't look like me, you probably aren't the indigenous. I'm being honest. It's not a judgment. It's a fact. And I'm all about DNA. Okay. I don't look like all DNA. I look like many of the tribal groups, especially the Blackfoot. I'm reminiscent, but my daughters are actually, their father is mixed with the Cherokee and the Blackfoot. So I can speak quantified. I come from two lines, and I mated with another line. I mated with the indigenous from this region, and I come from the indigenous from South and Central America that went into the Caribbean. So I'm just saying, how did I get? Oh my God. I hate when I go on tangents. I know I'm talking about DNA. Family, please bring me back sometimes. I know I'm going off, and it's because my mind is, I can expand, I can draw into so many topics based on DNA. Please bring me back sometimes, because sometimes I'll go off in space. Okay. All right. Let me go back in. Okay. Blood types. There are various blood types, and like I said, negative roots held home court advantage. I'm talking about all the things that they brought along, and most people didn't realize there's a lot of brown people who have negative, not just O negative, B negative, negative roots. There's a lot of them. And most of those negative roots that you see are portrayed on television. Because if you get the blood types of the majority of brown people on television, and in the pseudo extraterrestrial community, you will see that they're negative roots. Okay, you can research that yourself and go into that. Okay, and they have more of an analytical mind. Negative roots is more analytical. They can seem far removed. It isn't that. They're just extra. They have extraterrestrial behavior. Their behavior is very, very, it seems they're far removed, but it isn't. It's just a different mindset. The way that they think is a lot different. Okay. But family, there is a home court advantage that has changed. We're ending cycles. So as much as we've had O negative in the patriarchy ruling the last cycle, mostly lunar males, there is a switch. So home court advantage now will be the brown women, but women, just women, doesn't have to be brown, but brown women are, because remember, as above, so below. So lunar males were at the top, brown women were at the bottom. Okay. Lunar O negatives were at the top, brown O positives were at the bottom. That's as above, so below. So we're going directly. There's going to be others in the shift, just like in O negative, you had negative, but you had the different tiers underneath that hub. Okay. So you had the O negative, but you had the B negatives, you had the A negatives, but they all got a piece of that pie based on being in home court advantage. So they were put at a top of a lot of your CEOs were negative roots, B negative, A negative, doesn't matter. A lot of your bankers, your Judaic, people were, owning, companies, head of companies, head of, medical facility, head of, social media, media outlets. That was all negative roots. Okay. So when you go in a tier, you got to remember, we're doing a pole shift. It's a shift. It is going back into the inversion. So as above, so below. Now, when we do the flip, The old negative woman that was on the bottom, the brown woman that was on the bottom, now she's at the top. Now you're starting to see the trickling down of that phenotype, and everything will be in alignment with her on as the hub. So now O positive will be home court advantage. The copper brown woman will be O positive, the top, and everything in her subsidiary will be in that hierarchy. Now, some people will get happy or upset. And you know what's interesting? I always say this because you have to stay balanced. If I was on a team that was winning for so long, I would be happy for another team to have an opportunity to be in that position. That's saying you're being happy for another to experience a level of advantage. Okay, home courtage gives you advantage. Home court, if you, I don't know if you play sports. Remember, I was married to somebody in sports for so long. Home court means that all of the paraphernalia being sold is yours. Majority of this of the arena is filled up with people who are in favor of you. The referees are all biased they're all biased for you. That's home court. The negatives had it for a long extent of time, but remember, we're going in a pole shift. So the shift is as above, so below. So you have a shift. So what was above will now go into the opposite direction. And it's a balance because we all experience a level of greatness and we all experience a level of depreciation. It is part of the spiritual lesson that we go through. So now you have the copper brown women holding home court advantage on the top, and then you have the trickling down of hierarchy on below. So what happens now is you're starting to see a fight of regime. You're going to start to see people fighting for their position in that hierarchy, especially the hybrids. The hybrids that hold that particular roost, the negas, the mermaids will be, remember, the mer family comes up with that roost as well. So the mer family, you're going to start to see aquatic, a lot of Jemmy Ja, a lot of Mommy Water. You're going to start to see a lot of Little Mermaid things. Remember when they were trying to shift the Little Mermaid to brown? That's because home court advantage has changed. Okay, they're going to start to change everything. You're going to start to see another revered person on top, and everything will be in alignment. So watch your movies and see who they are. First of all, you're going to see the matriarchy take over everything. Women will be head of everything. That is a fact. So to take away that, because I know our roosters get a little sensitive, take away the positive roosters. Women matriarchy holds home court advantage. That's fact. You can vet that out. You can look online. Women will hold home court advantage. The sisterhood will take over all lines of power in this next cycle. And you can just watch as every movie that you see, Ghostbusters, what is the other one? What's it? Aboard. Remember what it used to be? It used to be a man fell over. No, it used to be Goldie Hawn fell overboard and she lost her memory and she was taken advantage. She was a wealthy woman. Remember, now it's a man who fell overboard and they take advantage of him as a wealthy man. Everything's gonna switch. Everything's gonna switch. You're seeing it in the movies. You're gonna see every character that used to be a man. You saw it in Men in Black. Men in Black. It was a woman of color with coily hair. Who is it? A natural sister. That's why they're promoting natural hair, because that coily hair now is going to be in home court advantage. That's why they aren't anymore promoting straighter hair, because now women who have froze and coily hair, if you notice, family, you got to notice in the 60s, what did you see? A lot of women straightening their hair, hot combs, a lot of perming and all that stuff. And not in the 60s, but like the 50s, I'm sorry, the 50s. You saw a lot of women, like the doo-wop groups, the women were straightening their hair or wearing straight wigs. Remember that? And then, 60s, everybody was high on mushrooms and there was like interterrestrial. That's when they introduced extraterrestrial drugs and people were just like natural, straight, curly, froze, whatever. But now, do you notice that everywhere? I'll go in Chase Bank. I told you, Chase Bank. What did I tell you? I saw Chase Bank, a woman with coily hair. That when would they promote that? Coily hair, and she had a lunar husband. So that's why you see a lot of lunar males. Remember, lunar males are trying to mate with a lot of copper brown women. And they're not just trying to mate with them. Before, they were trying to slip into the bedroom and, buy them and purchase them. No, they're marrying them. And they're trying to breed with them because they have home court advantage. So now you're going to see all these natural hair, curly, coily hair women in positions of power. They didn't do that before. And I always say, go and look at your advertisement. Whenever I say something to you, do a fact check. Because a lot of times we can stop. We don't have to argue or have, alternative conclusions of something I'm saying isn't untrue. You can vet everything I say out. I always say vet it out first and then come to me. And then we can have a conversation. You will see it. So now you start to see that. Listen, that's why I said when the young lady said I perm my hair, I was like, perm? That I don't even know if they're selling are they still selling perms? Who's perming their hair? This natural hair, this is giving my messy hair life. This natural hair, because even my girlfriends used to get mad when I wore my hair like this. They like my hair blow dry and not blow dried. I wrap my hair and keep it straight. I was grateful when this hair change came. I was like, oh snap, I can have my hair look the way it is and I don't have to worry about people talking about me. Are they natural? Relaxers are deadly, but let's focus. Okay. Yes, they are. Okay. Yes. I'm going to keep focused. No, but they're not. I didn't know. I don't even think they're selling them like they used to. They might have sold them before, but I don't think they sell them as much anymore because I don't think it's necessary. That's used to be when they were cheap. But you got coily hair movement. I haven't seen so many advertisements, big advertisements with coily hair on covers. It's beautiful. So I'm grateful for it. That's what I'm saying. Women, you could take off all your hair weaves and everything. Cause this is your shine. Your coils are okay. You know what I mean? That's the benefit of having home court advantage. Doesn't matter your roots. When your hair is natural, you're allowed in this cycle because we're going back to a matriarchy and we're going back to a time when women were okay. That phenotype, that genetics is in home court advantage. Okay? So it's okay to be you. That's why the big butt, now you know why the big butt is coming into frequency. Why do you think they're putting the big butts, the big lips? That's all part of that's changing a cycle. The big bum bums, bam. That's, she's now say they quietly, I don't think that was quiet. They slowly brought that phenotype into advantage. When was the big bum bum a big deal? Remember when they said that what was it? J-Lo? Remember J-Lo? They would always talk about her bum bum because she's Puerto Rican. Big up to my Puerto Rican family. Puerto Ricans are mixed with the Carib, the Taino. The Taino were copper women with bigger bums and big breasts. Okay? Taino women, the original Taino women had big bum bums. That's a very Africano type of kind of disposition. Okay? So remember they were making big deals about her having a big butt? And then she didn't even have that big a butt. I saw her, the share of her on the, she probably got liposuction on her bum bum. She had a beautiful figure. No shade to J-Lo. J-Lo had a beautiful figure. And Puerto Rican woman. She's a Caribbean woman. She's shaped like an hourglass. Beautiful shape of her indigenous. She kept the shape of her indigenous women. It's beautiful. But they started to mimic that. Mimic that. So now you have like Kardashians, the whole of Nightmare, the whole of Doom. She has her big butt, all the fake butts. And it's sick. I know it's sick, but that's the mimicry. Remember we talked about mimicry whenever somebody else is going in home court advantage, they start to change and they do it visually on the social media. Remember, I don't know if many of you, I wasn't even born then, but remember back in the days when they wanted to bring that waif look, the emaciated look, who did they bring in? They brought in Twiggy. Many of you who are into fashion, I don't know, and you don't have to be older to know this because I'm not from that age, but Twiggy. Remember when Twiggy came into fashion? Remember, before Twiggy, it was like Marilyn Monroe. Women were more healthy size, normal size. And then this age of Twiggy came in when she looked like a stick. And that became the new fashion. That's when that's when we had started having fashion shows. Then women looked like they didn't eat for like 20 weeks. Remember that? She brought in that cycle of that type. And that's really to bring in another blood lineage. That's to institute another type of person who's going into home court advantage, another DNA type. Okay, So they did that and they brought her in, and that was the standard for a long period of time. Women, I knew women in the fashion industry who used to go to go-sees, and they were small already. They were tiny, and they were told to lose weight because they didn't look. You had mannequins that were bigger than some of the women that had to go and do fashion walks. They literally looked like walking corpses. I think personally during that time they were initiating or inviting that necrophilia into the mix in the populace. That's my personal opinion, because that whole thing with having women look like corpses and looking almost like little boys, that was the introduction of necrophilia and also pedophilia. Okay, so I think that was also what that was about. Maybe not so much phenotype or DNA, more so of an introduction of a certain type of behavior that was being done in the occult sex. Okay, that's thinking about it now, it's probably more so what it was. But that was the type that was brought in. Now, if you look in now, what are they instituting? You seeing these women getting their bums done, fake lips. I don't think what's her name is healthy looking, but she's being stapled up there. I was looking a lot of, I had to research this before because I was feeling a little ungrounded yesterday, so I had to ground myself. So I was looking at what the new trending is, and what I noticed is that, because I know who's on home court advantage, and her feelings or not, that's what it is, and you be able to vet that out as time goes on. It is a woman. And she is a home court advantage, as above, so below. So now we got a flip mode. But I looked on television. I was like, oh my God, they have all of these brown, chunky women on networks with coily hair. And some of them are wearing weaves. I do appreciate when they wear coily weaves that are their natural texture hair, because they change up the weaves that look more natural, curly, because they do have curly wigs, right? Yeah, all of these networks, I'm seeing one brown woman amidst other men, lunar men, a lot of times, chunky, thick, with curly hair. So I was like, oh snap, it's already begun. So the switch has already begun. They're making people comfortable with that look, because that is who is in home court advantage. The more motherly type, I say it's more motherly looking, because he's the original woman. We got to be careful, not overweight, but she was just more lofty. Okay, lofty. So now we have a switch of a different gene pool. So let's go into the DNA and why the new switch, because positive roost is now in home court advantage. The MERS, Mami Wata, Jemmy Ja, anything connected to the mermaids will now be in home court. That's why you're going to see a lot of water. That's why blue in the feng shui. Thank you to Lynn. Feng shui, the color is blue this year. Blue is in protection. That's that blue color. That's why anybody who's down with that color, remember we talked about Cardi B, how she's going to be held accountable, but she represents the red. Okay, so blue is now that new thing. Water is coming in. Water world. We're coming into a water world. So anything mermaid, anything water is going to be in home court advantage along with that. Okay. And the natural women being in their nature, women being naturopathic. The witches will be in home court advantage. Because remember, during the last cycle, during the patriarchy, what was the biggest thing that they did? They went after the women who were all based in nature. They went after the witches. They went after the homeopathic women, the metaphysically sound women. They went after the sisterhood. The skeleton sisterhood in Brazil, they went underground because the patriarchy came that hard. That's when you're covering all the women in the Middle East. That was their goal, is to suppress the feminine. Okay, so that cycle's over. Once Mecca is, remember we talked about it. I told you Mecca is going to be served their karma. Those men are going and worshiping a black box. They are worshiping a black box, but it's a carbonated yoni. They're worshiping a yoni, a brown yoni. Go figure. But you aren't. And I spoke to a woman yesterday, and we were talking about the state of Islam and the beauty of it when it's healthy, and talking about how really in Muslim culture, the mother is held at the highest esteem. We were going into conversation because her husband is Muslim. She converted to Muslim. She's from Ukraine, and we were discussing this. And many of you who don't have Muslim people in your family, this is something that you must know. in Muslim culture, the actual healthy part of it, just like Christianity is a healthier part, there's always light and dark and everything. But actually in Muslim culture, the mother is the head of everything. What she says goes. Everyone is below mother. She holds all. So I don't know if a lot of Christians or a lot of Americans may know that, but that is actually a part of Muslim culture, Islam, is that mother holds all power in everything. She is esteemed at the highest. And that's literally what, so the suppression of the woman is something that's sick, that comes out of some sick form of corruption in the patriarchy, because at the end of the day, mother is all. Mother brings life. Mother sustains the household. A healthy mother makes a family thrive, and an unhealthy mother makes the family dive. That's a fact. That's why I tell C-stars all the time, you shouldn't be concerned about a man unless he helps you. If he isn't there to help you and assist you, he's just a dead weight. Men are supposed to uphold a woman's status, a mother's status. If a man's making a woman's life harder, especially the mother of his children or his mother, he's unhealthy, he's sick. He needs to be omitted from the matrix because he's sick. That isn't the depreciation of the mother. That's why in every Disney movie they killed the mother. That's the patriarchy. Bambi's mother was killed. Cinderella's mother was killed. Snow White's mother was killed. What was it? Ariel's mother was killed. The only time the matriarchy started to come back is when you saw Simba. Simba was the reinstitution of the new Homecourt advantage, the African diaspora, when Simba's father died. And it was the mother still unable to hold her power because she was suppressed. But it's still the father started to pass away. So now you're going to start to see films where the father is taken out of the equation, where the father is gone. Even in this movie last night, I don't know if you saw this movie Freak on, it's called Freaks on Netflix. If you get a chance to see this movie Freaks, it's a great movie. It's a really interesting. I was watching it last night. I was like, wow, it's interesting. It talks about the little girl having power, the father having power, and the father and grandfather holding on to that child. But at the end of the day, when they died, the mother rose up. When the father died, the mother rose up. Okay? It's not to say men will die, but they will have to hold a different position because it is the mother who's healthy that makes a nation grow or die. All of Africa has been dead because the patriarchy has killed everything living. Everything living has died since the patriarchy's taken over. Waterways, mothers don't do this. This isn't a woman's disposition to go and murder and kill and destroy lands and kill animals. That's more of a male-based, a very detached male's disposition. When women thrived in Africa, because Africa was the heart of the whole planet. It's the heart of the whole planet. It's her heart. When you broke her heart, you destroyed everything. There wasn't anything being able to sustain. When you broke her heart, you basically destroyed the natural healthy ecosystem, the healthy ecosystem of the planet. Okay? Murdering those women, raping them, harvesting organs, genocide, bringing AIDS over there through missionaries calling themselves Christianity. Christianity was a devil. Okay? Christianity was the devil going over there and instituting a religion that was based on a corporation of patriarchy that was meant to depreciate and destroy anything that was outside of its benefit. Okay? That's all it was. So you could call yourself a missionary. If you call yourself a missionary, you might as well call yourself a Nazi. Okay? Because all those missionaries are Nazis. I don't care if you go over there with a chaste skirt, holding little African babies, thinking that you're doing something. Those people were fine before colonization went over there. Okay? They warred amongst themselves. Yes, you call them cannibals, but there's cannibals here, all in the United States of America. If you're eating McDonald's, hamburgers, and you're eating meat from, the grocery store, you too are a cannibal. Okay? Because you're not accountable. So you're a cannibal. So just, talking about a very rare tradition that was done amongst Native people to consume their elders as a way to take in their DNA. That was a practice. You had in the 1920s, you had the colonists going over into Egypt eating, it was called black tar. They were eating the Egyptian mummies because they thought it would get them better. So they were actually consuming the mummies' flesh, leftover flesh. It was called, you can look at it. I had a picture of it. So, call it when you throw in stones and you live in a glass house, it would only be to your benefit. Anyway, this is how much history is in my head. All this you can research, family. Don't listen to me. Listen, let me explain something. Never listen to FleurBrun. Go research it. If you hear me say something that you think is quackadoodles, hold on. If you think what I say is quackadoodles, by all means, I want you to go and research it yourself. I want you to go and say, FleurBrun is crazy. She has lost her mind. She's telling me that people in the 1920s were going and getting Egyptian corpses and, mummies, and they were eating it and they were serving it as medicine and things. They were actually stealing these corpses and selling them on the black market and consuming it. But they were going into Africa and the Amazons of, South America, seeing the people respecting their elders and having only that one ritual and making it seem like they were savages. And meanwhile, it was done all over places. You can go in parts of the South right now and meet yourself some ancestral cannibals right now in modern day 2020. Okay. But you won't have them making newspapers or having articles or having, NBC and CBS. You wouldn't have them making a whole, a whole tutorial on it, right? You wouldn't say, "Oh my God, look at these rednecks are eating their family. They're incestuous. They're sleeping with their cousins." When have you ever heard them say that? And it's happening today. That's a fact. You can go research that yourself. Same people who are having sex with donkeys and having sex with alligators are also consuming human flesh. But I digressed. Let's go back. Okay. So, that's why I'm just gonna sidebar for one moment. That's why it's crazy that everybody's concerned about quarantine. How come they didn't quarantine when they had AIDS and HIV? More people died during the HIV bioterrorism than right now with the cucarachas, right? More people died from AIDS and HIV. How come they didn't quarantine anyone? How come there were people going around spreading it all in the brown community and there wasn't one quarantine? There wasn't one vaccination that was quickly made? How come? How come all of Africa was supposedly dying of HIV and AIDS? Where was the rush to create a vaccine, to alter it, to stop it? Can anyone tell me? Wait, I just want to sidebar because the cucarachas is scaring everybody and they're like rushing to create a vaccination for it. How come that didn't happen with HIV? And how come they didn't quarantine people who they knew have it? They let them go around and just keep spreading it in the brown community. So Homecourt matters. Okay, family? So when people come to me and say, "Oh, FleurBrun, you're talking about things, and I don't think you should bring that up." Homecourt matters. When you have Homecourt advantage, you will allow another group that is in a sub-tier to be eliminated, genocided, subjugated. Right, Squirrely? Oh, my squirrel is talking to me. Hold on. Oh, look, they're looking at me. They like this. I got a squirrel. I got a squirrel audience. That's so funny. They watching me talk. I was outside with them talking. They like when I get loud. When I'm loud, they sit here and they watch me. Look, I got an audience. That's so funny. Okay, so I diverged a little bit. I'm sorry. But I just wanted to talk about Homecourt advantage. I'm just giving you examples of Homecourt advantage. What is allowed in Homecourt advantage and what isn't. So you can always use examples of history. History is a good indication of future. Past behavior is a good indication of future behavior. So if you want to know what I'm talking about, a Homecourt advantage, you have to look at the last couple centuries. Who benefited the most? Lunar males. Who had negative roots? Let me state this. Because lunar males who didn't have negative roots did not take advantage. They had advantage only from having a phenotype, but they were usually subjugated, had the lower tier jobs. They usually had to do their own rogue businesses. So if they weren't positive, if they weren't negative roots, yes, lunar males still had somewhat because they had the phenotype, but because they didn't have the blood lineage, they weren't in those higher positions. So let's say Roos, who has a positive roost, is at a company, and another guy, Ted, is in the same company, but Ted is negative Rus, and let's say Jack is positive Rus. They're both lunar males. They're in the company. When Ted goes for that promotion, he won't even have to go for the promotion. He is number one choice of that promotion and to hold a position in that company. Whereas, what did I say, the Greg or whatever, Greg is the positive Rus. He, even though he's a lunar male, he won't be allotted to hold the higher position. He will be okay. He'll be a subsidiary underneath a Ted. He'll be okay to be a subsidiary. He'll be the one that Ted goes to do things for him, but he isn't going to be in that home court advantage, because even though he has the phenotype of Ted and they're in home court advantage of the patriarchy, it doesn't matter because he doesn't hold the lineage advantage. Blood types matter. They do. That's why when I told you when we go to dance classes, my negative homegirls, they're all hanging together. They didn't even know. Remember, I told you this story 50 million times. They didn't even know they were negative Rus. They liked each other more. And that's what I'm saying. When you know, it's like an intrinsic knowing. It's like an internal knowing. You know your people. So you will always do for yours. You'll always give your friends a leg up. But if all your friends are in your Rus, because you have a natural propensity to like people of your same lineage, that's why complexions don't matter. That's why a lot of you see a lot of lunar males who rock with me. And I tell you, every single one of them is O positive. That's why they like me. That's why they tolerate me. They have we're cousins. We're family. It's an internal knowing. So got to be careful about complexions. The only time it matters is in home court when they're switching. You're just going to be seeing a switching of power. That's it. It'll be a woman and a woman of color who holds the next position of power in this pole shift. It's just what it is. And there will be everybody else in that alignment of positive Rus who are in that alignment. Now, it doesn't mean, even though patriarchy and negative Rus neck of the woods, he was in power, but of course you would see women negative Rus holding positions of power in that cycle. You would see other males, brown males, who are O negative, holding subsidiary power in that cycle, because they're still in the lineage of protection based on their in home court advantage. It's like how you respect a quarterback as opposed to a linebacker. Linebacker may not get as much respect as the quarterback, right? Whenever a team wins, who do you give more respect to? You give more respect to the quarterback. You'd be like, yay, we got the best quarterback. He's the one who makes all the primary decisions. But the linebacker is the one who holds the ground, right? The linebacker is the one who does all the grunt work, but the linebacker's still on that team and still takes a lot of it has the privilege of celebrating and being considered one of the winners. So when I bring up, I came from a sports household. So just know I use a lot of these because I know you understand what I'm saying. And I kind of put it in a way that you can understand what I'm talking about. Okay. So, so we have the different Ruses coming in. Now we have the hybrids of that positive Rus starting to work their way into the hierarchy. So now you're going to start to see, like I said, the Mer family, you're going to see a lot of water. The Nega serpent line, who's holding the home court advantage, that is the Empress Sheba's line. So now you're going to start to see the different countries. Remember we talked about Ethiopia's president. I think it was Ethiopia's president is a woman now. You're going to start to see a lot of women hold positions. All the presidents are going to start to become women. Okay. And if we have presidential, it'll change. Also, currency exchange won't be money because fiat is represented by the patriarchy. There's only men on those bills. Remember they said they did a spoof saying that Harriet Tubman was going to be on a $20 bill. That wasn't a spoof. That was a tester to see how people would take it. Harriet Tubman represents who is in the phenotype of those who are going to be in home court advantage. That was giving you a little preview of who is going to hold positions. So that's why Kokarachis is scaring a lot of the patriarchy, because those are the ones who aren't in home court advantage. So if you notice online, the most people fearful of the Kukarachis, it's males, and it's mostly lunar and Asiatic males. Because remember, I didn't know how the cycle would change. In order for the changeover to happen, all those standing systems have to collapse. In a matriarchy, we do exchange. Women are good barterers. Like I said, I could have cherries. Who's on here? I can't. I have the wrong contacts in today. I have cherries. Who's on here? Like Dollface. Dollface has peaches. Or she has coffee beans. I always do that because I like coffee beans. So Dollface will come to me and we're in the village and Dollface will say, FleurBrun, I know you love your coffee beans and it's refreshing. It's caffeine free. I want to exchange with you. So I'll say, okay, I'll give you some of my cherries. I'll give you like a bushel of cherries for some coffee beans. Our exchange will be based on the things that we do well. See, that is more matriarchally based. We're exchanger. We go to a marketplace where it's all women. The way that they barter is different. It's a fairer exchange, more balanced exchange. It's not always going to be perfect. Remember, there's dark and light in everything. Just because we're going to a matriarchy does not mean it's all positive. That's why they're putting people like Cardi B and knowing she comes from a certain lineage and on the top tiers. They're putting other women of color that are dark, like a negative, that represent the Lilith version. They're putting her on the top because they don't want you to have positive of that positive roots. Okay? They want you to have the negative versions, the more controllable, the more chaotic, the more Cali types. Not even Cali, just more diabolical types on top. So they're going to propel these dark women of doom, dark women of doom, okay, on top positions because they're hoping that holds. And they want that lineage to hold because those will be the ones that when cycles change again could actually will be okay mating with dark males. Okay, dark males, dark occultist males. A woman who's unhealthy is more likely to mate with unhealthy or have chaotic mating and bring on chaotic children. That was the last cycle. The last cycle was chaotic. Okay, so the chaotic energy was in the last cycle. The energy now will be more balanced, more mother. Okay, so it's funny that I was talking to my sister yesterday. She did my massage. She was talking about Muslim culture. Big up to all my Islamics on here. Assalamu alaikum. Did I say assalamu alaikum? Okay. That is also going to be remedied because there is a destabilization and an imbalance in the Islam community where the mother has lost some of that power, but in the religion itself, it was set up where she was at the top of the table. Okay, she was the head of the table. All right, even father was delegated under the mother. Okay, so this will change, and this will change with the cucarachas. And that's what I'm saying. You see AMTV, he's obsessed with money. Oh, cryptocurrency. I know what your vibration is if the first thing during a collapse you're worried about your dollars. That's how you know. Any of the women that I know, the sea stars, the first thing we're concerned about is the health and well-being of our children and of ourselves. If the first thing that you're concerned about is your stocks and bonds, it means that you're in the patriarchal side. That most likely you're one of them. Because that shouldn't be a concern of yours. The collapsing of a system that was based in occult rituals on dead trees' skins with all kinds of symbols and sigils, that is patriarchal base. If you're obsessed with that or cryptocurrency, which is another phantom version of that, that means that you are part of the patriarchy and you won't have comfortability when we're going into fair exchange because the balance, remember, I've never been a fan of equality. I'm all about equity. If you and your family have killed and you come from lineages of $5 Indians or murdering Indigenous and you're living on a beautiful home in a beautiful area with dead trees, okay, and dead people underneath the ground that were destabilized because of your people coming there and hurting and harming them and benefiting years later, there will be a reinstitution of balance. That is equity, okay? If Timothy has lived in a place where he's been destabilized generation after generation from another group of people coming with genocidal agendas, and they have made it so their whole world is based on their principles and their lineage, and you've been depreciated under that system, then when we reestablish equity, Timothy will be brought up to the same standard as the same people who took generations to get there. They won't be propelled any further up because they're already comfortable. We talked about equity. So we are now starting to see a reestablishing of the matriarchy. The mother is now going to be in home court advantage. Rather than complexion, let's talk about the mother. The mother will have a new stabilization of her home. She will now have peace when it comes to her children. She will now, people are concerned about quarantine. When have us in our community ever been concerned about staying home with your babies and having zero worries about bills or mortgages or school loans or banks closing? What does that have to do with us? That isn't our system. We may live in that system. We may even thrive in that system. And some people may barely exist, but that isn't our system. That collapsing is to your benefit. You have more to offer because many of you are herbalists, naturopaths, magicians, metaphysically sound, Wiccans, witches, Obians, Santerians. Y'all have been doing mystical things on utilizing your own resources in order to create cohesion in your world. So you've been resourceful in the patriarchal system where he's dominated with fake money, fake news, fake hair, fake butt, fake everything. Everything is artificial in their world. Even the way they look. A lot of people, they are shapeshifting the way they look. They're reptilians a lot of times or insectilians. They're grays. That's an artificial world. That's AI. That's an AI special. That has zero to do with you. Your blood lineage, if you're healthy, wouldn't want that. That's why you got to be careful because all of those from that other lineage, that home court advantage, they're concerned about the fall. The O negatives at the top who did well with the depreciation of the others that aren't their family. Let me state this. They aren't their family. There is no share. You may have them in, when I say not their family, I'm talking about the ones at the top. We're not talking about O negatives that mix with O positives. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the negatives that merge with their own cousins. They have sex with their own cousins and family members just to keep that lineage. Okay, it isn't going to benefit them where we're going. With the triple sun coming in with the magnetic energy, it isn't going to benefit them. They live well under electricity, under low elf waves. They thrive. You take the matriarchy will thrive in this next cycle because she has all of the tools based on being in a subsidiary where she had to become more resourceful. She will benefit in this next cycle. She will benefit. Her children will benefit. There will be healthier babies born. Any male coming from the matriarchy in this next cycle will be a healthier male. That's why we shouldn't be concerned. Any male birthed after the collapse will be a healthier male. That's coming from this diaspora. Because the other ones won't be here. That's why they're concerned about the cucarachis. Because they're scared about the cucarachis because subliminally they have an inner knowing that their time is up. Your time is up. So big up to all the Rooses in the house. You got the OGs. Big up to the OGs, the O positive. Remember we found out the O positives and the O negatives were both allergic to copper. Had a sensitivity to copper. That's interesting. Both the O negative and O positive. So big up to the OGs. Big up to the A's in the house. A negative, A positive. Big up to the B's in the house. B positive, B negative. Big up to the ABs. You combination platter. You masterful duplicity of beings. Big up to y'all in the house. And big up to the Z's, the X's, and the ones that have no blood type that's humanoid. So, okay, so let's go into the blood types that will be in the hierarchy in the hub. Okay, the umbrella. I already told you it was the Maya, the Andromedans, who hold home court advantage, and the Nega. I told you this years ago when you thought I was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You will start to see that. The Nega. That's why also, big up to, I'm going to have Saki on. Big up to Saki who's going to do, that's why we looked up our astro cartography. When you look and see why people are moving into Africa and to South America, when you do your astro cartography, it's because, and also in your, in the next cycle, according to the feng shui, the next cycle, the regions that will be in benefit, home court advantage, are in South America and in West Africa. Go figure. Now we know why all these people are jumping ship and going into Africa. When you look, you're like, oh snap! The feng shui, the next cycle, that's going to be a couple. I think Lynn will probably go in. The cycle lasts for a long period of time. The cycle that was benefit was in these regions, the northern regions. They were benefit for centuries. That's why it benefited here in the North Americas and in Europe. But now the next home court advantage. That's why when my homegirl told me how many Europeans are living in Africa, it would stun you. That's why, that's when Rudolph of Germany, big up to Rudolph of Germany. Rudolph of Germany made that video 2 years ago. Do you realize it's almost 2 years ago? He said that the Europeans were doing bait and switch. That's why they're opening all the borders for the Syrians and the Africans to come over in Europe, because they're letting them come in so they can take over their land. When my girlfriend told me yesterday, she said she went into Cairo and there's whole cities and towns with Americans and Europeans living over there, cushy and comfortable. They've already done their relocation. Okay, so the next home court advantage, am I FleurBrun? I hope so. Oh, should I do my code? Am I FleurBrun? My code was Naj. I had a code anytime they thought it was a clone. Yes, my code is, for anyone who knew I had the word, in case I was cloned, is Naj. So for anyone who's asking what the code is, it's Naj. Okay. I jumped before, but last night I think there might have been, I talked to Bigoto Borzing. We were talking about it. You could have done a jump last night because we had the time jump. We had the changing of the times last night, which is at 2 a.m., which is you do time savings, and mind you, the president of Brazil said he doesn't do that anymore. I found that very interesting that the president of Brazil says he doesn't want to. That was Paula who told me that. Paula said that the president of Brazil says he's not doing the timeline saving anymore. I wonder why. Okay. So, oh yeah. So let me go back into, oh, you were kidding? No, but at least I have my code. So, if it's not me, I can't tell you my code. My code is Naj. Okay. So according to astrocartography, you can find out where you most resonate with. And I'm going to have Saki come on Patreon next week for the show and go all into astrology, Mayan astrology, how it all interfaces. It's wonderful. But with Lynn, she goes into feng shui and Asiatic forms of the alignment according to their astrology. And the home court advantage over the next couple centuries will be in West Africa. That's why they're all moving. And in South America. Why do you think the Nazis moved there? All in Argentina. Anyway, so it's going to be interesting how that shows up. And in Maya, because family, remember I told you who's in home court advantage. It is that Mayan DNA, Inca, Aztecian, the Mayan blood lineage, the ones for the Maya. Okay, that is in who's home court advantage, because the Andromedans are holding home court advantage, and the Naga serpent line. Okay, so those mix with those, and also the Aquatarians, they're all in alignment. So you have a lot of treaties being reestablished amongst those groups. So the Aquarian family, anyone who's resonating with lately, especially with mermaids and Alpha Centaurians, and you're resonating with the waterways, it's because you're in alignment with them. Okay, make right with water. I've talked about that. The majority of the planet is going to be water again. It's going to be hot and tropical, which is, I'm excited. And I told you in the future, all I see is all these waterways with tons of waterfalls. I love waterfalls. That's where I am in the future. All I see is these waterfalls cascading down with these rainbows, like independent rainbows. So it's going to be water is going to be our future, and sun. So it's going to be hot. It'll be like living on a perpetual water, like a beach, like a beach resort. It'll be beautiful. It's going to be hot, and it's going to be watery. It's going to be wet and hot. I don't know if that sounds too good. Big up to everybody who's here for the future beauty of the planet. It's going to be amazing. She's going now again, if you think I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, I always like to say, let me state this. For anyone coming, please put a like on my video as you step in. Just a handy dandy like if you're up for the shenanigans today. I always asked you for your likes, if that's okay. And also for the haters, let me give a sip for the haters. Let me take my break and take a sip for the haters. And I've decided to take your energy, haters. So every time you put a dislike on my video, you actually send me 1,000 forms of abundance, like for resources. So for every dislike I get from the haters, I actually benefit from them. So thank you. So let me say salut. Salut. Thank you. I love this tea. Oh, and for those just stepping in the room, I was talking about busy tea. So my West Indian, I got some for my, bug out, for my bug out stuff for busy. But I actually got the tincture, and the tincture is really, really costly, but I got it. The Kola. And this is actually from West Africa. Listen, family, even in the herbs that are going to benefit us, they're from West Africa. So the ones who were enslaved were from West Africa. It's interesting. This is why I say everything is relative. As above, so below, as within, so without. So as we shift back into home court advantage, the West Africans were the ones who were deemed the least likable Africans. But in the home court advantage in the next cycle, their land and where they are the most renowned. They got home court advantage. Go figure. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes you shouldn't be mad when you experience a lot of adversity, because your day will come when you have your moment to shine. My mother used to tell me everybody has their moment to shine. That's what I'm saying. If you're healthy and you're on here and you hear this conversation about others experiencing a level of advantage and healthiness in that advantage, you should say, you know what? Good for them. Because me and mine have experienced a level of advantage, and I want everyone to have that same experience. That's healthy, because if I see another C-star win, why would I be mad at her? I'd be happy, say, good for you. Good for you. You work hard. You did your thing. You had your moment. You had your shine. Good for you, C-star. Do you? When certain people hate on someone, or they're so hoardery, they want to hoard all the power. That's all this patriarchy. Every day you see them online. Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss wearing Harvard hats online every day. Talking about the cucarachis every day, talking about the money, cryptocurrency. What do you have in stocks and bonds? Why should that concern you? If you're anti-system, why should stocks and bonds? Because that's part of the system, right? So why would someone who says that they're anti-system, uh, oh wait, hold on. Oh wait, I can't see. Sometimes I can't see your comments. These contact. Positive is not good. Look at me, those words. Oh, okay. I won't say positive. You're right. Okay. I take that. Thank you. Thank you for, I love when you make me aware, because remember, words are spells. Okay. So that bothers someone. Okay. So let's use plus and minus. That doesn't sound good either. If I change it, there's not much I can do with that. Plus and minus, it still has an advantage. Plus and minus. What's another way I can say that? Two and one? Because one is 2 lines. The plus is 2 lines, and the other one is 1 line. It's hard to say that. If anyone can find a different way to say that, to shapeshift that, okay. I'll keep going, but can someone find... I agree. I want to make sure my words... Remember, words are spells, so I've got to make sure I'm... Polarities. Okay. 0 and 1. Okay. I'll figure it out. I got to keep on my mindset, but thank you for mentioning that. Add and subtract. Yeah, but even that's negative. It's got to be careful. The verbiage is, the English language is the most bastardly language. Anyway, so let's go into, so the different blood lineage. So that's why you're starting to see the places of advantage are where the Maya thrived. The Maya civilization with the Andromedans, right? So what I love, and that's when I do love, when I share things that actually show up. Because sometimes it's a matter of I know things. There's things I definitively know. I know certain things. And 5 years ago when I was saying that the Andromedans had home court advantage and the Nega, I couldn't really prove that. I couldn't prove it to you. It wasn't provable. It was kind of like just it was kind of just like, conjecture almost, like I couldn't really say, I couldn't have anything. But now you're starting to see it show up. So in those areas where there's home court advantage, people have already relocated. So according to Rudolph of Germany, in a video he made 2 years ago, I think it's 2 years ago, he stated that the Europeans would start leaving their homelands and moving into Africa. So what they do is bait and switch. So they're letting all the borders open with all these African groups and Middle Eastern groups, and they're taking over their lands. So they're switching. That's why South Africa made a point to kick out a lot of people who were living there for a long period of time, because South Africa was dealing with a lot of apartheid. And nobody remembers that more than me. I stopped wearing LA gear. I didn't wear gold for a while because of the apartheid. Now, you had Europeans going over there, claiming the lands, and then telling the people that live there, you're less than human, which isn't an insult. Listen to this. You're subhuman, you're less than human. Now, in our day and age, we realize that subhuman may mean also partially extraterrestrial. Subhuman is really talking about extraterrestrials a lot of times. So when people used to say subhuman, you got to take that in consideration nowadays with what we know. So subhuman is something else. But then in South Africa, they were subjugating. So how you going to move to somebody? This is the craziness about this planet. How you going to move to somebody? You ain't even from there. Oh, wait, I can't read. Okay, hold on. Oh, my gosh, hold on. The preachers are calling out mermaid, yes, spirits and indigenous in the Caribbean. Oh, they're doing it in the Caribbean too? Oh, yes, I know. Thank you, my love, for the donation. Thank you. Yes, I know. I saw the video years ago. Remember, one of the sea stars shared it with me. They're casting out the Aquarian spirits, the aquatic spirits. I saw that for the first time. I was like, how would they know that? Because they don't want you to make right with your ancestors. Many of you come from the Word of Worlds. Some of you incarnated and you're from there and you're here to just set the tone. You know what I mean? Some people are here for ascension, but there are a lot of volunteers here. Okay, let me state this. There are people here for ascension, and then there's people to assist to make sure it's balanced. So go into, if you want to read Convoluted Universe by Dolores Cannon, Dolores Rest in Power, Dolores Cannon, phenomenal woman, phenomenal. Took hypnotism to a whole nother level, going into that quantum, all that quantum hypnotherapy. That thank Miss Dolores Cannon for doing that. She did a phenomenal job. Okay, so they're trying to get the marine spirits out. They're going to fail. Because the marine spirits are cousins. So anyway, let's go back to South Africa, a certain blood lineage. How are you going to kick out people who live on their own land and then get mad when the same people that you told them that they were subhuman are kicking you off of them? How are you going to get mad? There's people mad that colonized the country, and they told the people who are actually indigenous there, you are less than anything, and we're going to take over your whole land. Now they got kicked out, and they're crying, saying, how could you kick off people who have farms and land? Listen, I told you, all debts are due. If your family's been doing dirt, you need to do right. If my father was a wild, wild west going around murdering people left and right, and my mother was doing dirt, I have to remedy that. Because I'm a walking, living, biological representation of my ancestors. So when people say, oh, that's the past, it isn't the past if you're a representation of that lineage. If you had a father who was a serial murderer, you are the representation of that lineage. You have to make right with that. You're here as the physical representation. You can't, what are you going to exonerate that? That isn't, if you benefited off of living, listen, when the indigenous kick everybody, did you hear that conversation lately? That might happen, family. What's going to happen? Did you hear that new conversation? The indigenous here in the United States of America. Listen, it's going to be interesting. They said they want all of the colonizing families to leave. And then listen, so these people said, "Oh, how are you going to make us leave? We built this country." No, you didn't. The African slaves built the country. The African slaves built the country. You didn't build the country. I'm sorry. I couldn't. Oh, thank you so much, my love. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm fasting. That was so funny. The man said, you going to kick us? It was I don't know. I got to share the video. It was so funny. He was the indigenous, like, we're going to make all the colonizers, like, all of the families for the colonized. He said, we built this country. And I said, no, you didn't. It was the Africans that killed, they weren't Africans, South Americans actually. If you want to keep it real, there was all the brown people you brought that built the country. They were the ones who did all the free labor. So I don't know if that's going to happen. If that happens, it's going to be interesting. I'm going back to my homeland. So I don't I don't have a leg in this race, right? Oh, I got it right. I don't have a leg in this race because I'm going back to my homeland. All y'all who this isn't your family's homeland, y'all all gonna be asked to leave. I'm going back to my homeland. I understand when my invitation is up. My family didn't come from this country, so I'm first generation American, but I'm going back to my homeland. He said that. It was so funny. It was so ignorant. That's how far removed some of these empty seaters are. They're so far removed. Listen, if you aren't from the indigenous here, we all aren't. This isn't our land, and I acknowledge it. This is my daughters. My daughters can lay claim here. They come from the Cherokee and Blackfoot. Big ups to my little ones. My daughters can actually lay claim. They are 50% because their mother's indigenous and their father's also indigenous too. They could claim right here. So literally, by the fact that I have children that are actually indigenous, they're part of the fact. They're part of the indigenous here. I actually, mommy, I could actually stay here if I wanted to. But I would. I'm going back to my own homeland. Yeah, I'm going back to my own. I'm going back. Peace. When you're out where you're welcome and you got the indigenous telling you to get the heck out of Dodge, you better leave before their ancestors come out of the ground. See, this is another thing with bloodline and blood lineage. This is why bloodline matters. You got to be careful, family. That's why I said all this infighting with all these negative things, quote unquote, happening to the indigenous diaspora. That's because they aren't the indigenous. They're getting a lot of adversity because they aren't represented by their indigenous under the ground. When the ancestors rise, and they're doing it now, many of you are having dreams of your family members. When they rise underneath the ground, they're going to assist. See, the problem is that many people, there was a lot of rituals being done, but remember, a lot of these bastards have jumped ship. So they can't uphold the rituals, remember I told you my grandmothers in Brazil were all stuck in etheric prison? We're going to go into that maybe in another video. Remember when I went to Brazil, I did the fast. I went to Brazil and I freed my grandmothers. Many of you saw the video. I freed my grandmothers from the etheric prison. They were stuck in an above place where they thought was real. And I freed them. They did that. The Nazi regime in Brazil that are not indigenous to those lands, they did that to the people so that the ancestral realm could not assist with their physical living families. So now that these bastards are jumping ship, all the dark Kabbalists are jumping ship, who's doing the rituals anymore? So that's why you're going to see ancestors popping out of the ground. That's what I'm saying. Indigenous, those who got kicked out of the Cherokee meeting, don't worry. Those ancestors are coming underneath the ground and they don't recognize a lot of people on their land. And they know. See, remember, these are beings that they already know because they transcend dimensional. They're not from our density. They know the truth. They know your DNA. They see it. So when they start popping out of the ground, I'm saying, family, the cucarachas could very well be an ancestral thing too. Because I remember the Andromedans had something to do with that cucaracha virus. When the ancestors start popping out of the ground, if you have less of your ancestors on this ground, it's going to be an issue because they're going to start making people sick in their house. Remember they were talking about the burial grounds with the slaves? People were getting sick and going crazy because the slaves started to wake up underneath the ground. So I'm just saying, home court advantage matters. Everybody should go back to their own homelands. You should go and make right with your own ancestors. I'm saying, this is my opinion because DNA matters. When Chickasaw grandpa from 4 generations wakes up and he's looking around and seeing people wearing feathers that aren't from his diaspora, that's going to be real interesting. When you're seeing swamis who don't look like wearing swami stuff and they're not swamis and they're not from the genetic background and they're practicing all this religious stuff from a DNA. I remember Kiki said that. Kiki was like, it kind of freaks her out that people are practicing things and they're not even from the same phenotype. They're not from the same lineage, DNA of people who created those things. There's going to be a consequence if you aren't doing right. DNA matters. So Pocahontas people coming back. That was so funny. I'm sorry. I had to bring that up because a lot of times we don't remember what we did. And we basically try to, especially if we come from backgrounds where we might have done harm or our ancestors have done harm to another, we try to swipe that away underneath the rug because it's very difficult to acknowledge that. But DNA matters in that everything will be back into equity. That's why women will be placed in a healthy position. A lot of women have struggled under the patriarchy, and the ones who have jumped ship and have been, basically the bench whores of the patriarchy, they're going to also receive a lot of the residuals of them selling their sisters out for the patriarchy favor. Okay, so all these women who sit in home court advantage with those patriarchy, serving them, doing things for them, selling out their sea stars, women that are not sisterly, those are women that women have issues with other women. Those are not part of the sisterhood. Those women who will benefit most on this planet will be part of sisterly. Those are women that are very friendly to other women. They have a very healthy sisterhood mentality. Okay, they will benefit. That is what's going to occur. So, when you have women that are good, that are healthy with other women, sisterly, very loving, very abiding, very, patient, very compassionate, those will benefit. We're going into second. Remember, it's the opposite. Opposite equal end. Okay, we lived in duality. It's another form. It's an inversion. We're going into inversion. So, if you struggled under the patriarchy, you're going to have some reprieve. If I can give you any, and I know it for a fact, I rarely say that to you, I know it for a fact, for any sea star on here who's had hardship and hardship, you will literally have reprieve. You're in home court advantage. Complexion at the point it's off women. It's just women, women, women. Okay? But your blood type does matter. Who's at the head? The hierarchy of not fighting, but reestablishing positions of power, that will happen amongst the highest quantity of hybrids. Okay, and it's mostly earthlings because the original woman will hold home court advantage, to my knowledge now. So the original females, the original sea stars who actually lived here at the time when, you saw the pyramids being reestablished, the empress, the queendoms, those are the women that will hold home court advantage. Okay, so you're going to start to see them be established. So, part of, check it out. Look online. So, who else? You're going to have Andromedans. You're going to have aquatic family mermaids. Oh, all the elementals. Anybody's connected to the fairy realms. It doesn't matter what bloodline you come from. That you will benefit. Elementally, people who are connected to the fairies, the gnomes, the unicorns, all that, because that realm, it isn't any longer here. Remember, I took a picture of the fairy. Somebody thought I was lying about the fairy. I didn't. Let me state this. The picture that you see on my community, that is a real picture. I didn't see it like that. That's why I take pictures of them, because they don't let me take pictures. And when I see their little, it looks like an invisible, I don't know if you've ever saw a Predator. When they go invisible and you see like a jelly, like a clear gel kind of outline. I see that with the fairies. So I take pictures all the time. They never come out. It was my daughter who actually went through my picture roll, who actually saw it. She said, "Mommy, you got it." I take pictures all the time. That's what I'm saying. That's a real fairy. I see the outline. I just never can capture them. So anyone who's connected to the fairy realm, by all means, this is your benefit too, because the elemental realm is connected to the healing of the planet. She's in cohesion with the planet. So people who have connections to the angelic realm, this is all mostly feminine qualities. That's what I'm saying. You will benefit. It's a beautiful time. So when we talk about actually genomes, yes, we have a home court advantage, just like we had the patriarchy, negative roost. Now would be positive roost, more of a coily haired melanite that holds home court advantage. But under the mother, she's loving. That kind of, remember, let's keep it real. We're going to keep it real in here. The brown mother gives birth to all life. All of the life on this planet has come from her. Unless you're extraterrestrial, remember, there's different extraterrestrials here. So let me state this: most life that's from here. She seeded most, even with O positives. O positive brown women created the O positive lunar women. She comes. That's why we're family. We come from the same. There's always like an heirloom that creates other heirlooms from that. So she's the hub. So there shouldn't be any concern of the brown copper women holding that position, because a positive root, she has a healthy disposition. She's usually very nurturing. So under the mother, the brown mother, she will be loving and nurturing and in nature and balanced. So there shouldn't be any concern. You should be concerned under the lunar male because he was out of balance. He wasn't for nature. He was hurting the planet, killing the trees, destabilizing, raping, creating all this necrophilia. That was under that patriarchal system. That's out of balance. The grandmother, the mother who comes, the grandmother, she creates a life. By the nature of you being her child, she's going to put you under that protection. So there shouldn't be any fear of that. Because a lot of people like fear of somebody. There's a whole platform, fear of a black planet. No, you should fear males ruling, a female ruling, a brown female especially. Who do you think? Why do you think the big mama in every movie, the big brown mama is always the sweetest one? Why is she always the one? Why even in the Matrix you had a thick coily hair woman of color and she's serving cookies to all nationalities? Remember the babies that she was rearing, teaching them abilities? I don't know if anyone saw the Matrix. Remember the Oracle? She was a brown woman with coily hair and she was serving all the babies cookies from a chinois, a lunar, a brown child. Remember? She's the Everly mother. That big mama is going to hold home court advantage. She is. And she's loving. But she is a tyrant if you hurt her babies. So be mindful under this next system, family. That is who holds home court advantage. She comes from the original extraterrestrial, well, not the extraterrestrial, the more ancestral beings from Mother Terra, Mother Tiamat, Mother Gaia. She's from that. So she will protect everything under that. So if you write with mama, it's all good in the hood. But if you come against mother and her children and the healthiness of this planet, she will come for you. And she's quite equipped. So that is his home court advantage. So there shouldn't be any fear of that. If you have a fear of a big brown woman ruling over this planet, it means that you do dirty things. Because in every household, when you go to a household, the one thing I see is when I see a thick, chunky brown woman, she's always loving. That's something that comes with that phenotype. She's the original mother. That is who holds home court advantage. So all of us under her system will feel hugged. We will feel loved if we are in that cohesion, in that balance, in that love frequency, in that united frequency. Remember, she had every baby in her house. She is a loving mother. She will wash your feet. She will wash your hair. She will snuggle with you. She will wipe your tears away. That is the divine mother. Okay? She's in home court advantage. We need that. We need the hugs and kisses. We need to be told sometimes everything's going to be okay. We need that mother. Do you know how many times I love, when I'm at my loss, I call my mother. I call my mother. And I lie in her bed. When I wasn't feeling good that time, I lied in my mother's bed. That's the divine mother. We're going to have that reprieve. Take that and make sure you aren't out of alignment with that. Now, if you're a bastard and you like to hurt women and you like to rape women or subjugate and you're just a liar and you're a materialistic bastard, no, you should be afraid. Those are the people, anybody stuck in materialism or you just out of love frequency, yes, you should be afraid. That divine mother who's connected to the elemental realm, she will implement balance. But if you aren't in that balance, yes, you will be catching the cucarachas. You will be gone. Okay. Your stocks and bonds will fall apart and cryptocurrency, all that crazy phantom money. Yes, it will all collapse. You won't be happy in this next cycle. You will have to make right with mama. That's why I love talking about the Islamic principles, the Muslim principle of mothers being above. When I talked to my sister yesterday, I cried. I was like, that's so beautiful. She said, yes, in Islam, the mother is all. And the principle of Islam, mother is all. And all those men who were in the Middle East who were out of balance, beating their wives, subjugating, talking to them like dogs, not respecting them, you will be omitted. I'm okay with, listen, there are wars for you. See, people are talking about the wars in the Middle East. Some of those nasty bastards are the ones who are being deleted. Y'all have to be deleted. If you're going around beating a woman who takes care of your children, you think that's well? Having sex with dogs, cats, donkeys, alligators, you think that's healthy? Having sex with little girls, subjugating women to to criminal things, having sex with little boys. You think that's healthy? Dwayne Wade going around the nation promoting his child sexuality at 12 years old, going to cut off his genitalia, which is a form of mutilation. You think that's healthy? Those people won't be here. They won't be here. That you shouldn't fear that. The Divine Mother will be here. She will give you hugs and kisses, and she will bake cookies for you. She'll bake vegan cookies for you. There won't be any animals hurt for you. Her to give you love and nourishment. But darn Skippy, if you come against Mother, she is prepared. She's got machetes, and she has magic all in her wazoo. She's got it for you. So if you aren't good with the Divine Mother, that big mama, remember, did any of you see Princess what is it? Princess Tiana? That movie pissed me off, because she was the only princess that wasn't a natural princess, right? She remember, she was marrying a prince from Brazil. Creole. The Creole marrying a prince from Brazil. They tell you everything. Remember when they went into the swamp? What they see? Big Mama had a snake on her neck and she was blind. She was a big brown woman, had magic. She knew all. She didn't even need eyes. She had a snake, the serpent wrapped. That's who they were talking to you about. Why did the prince that came for her from Brazil? They're talking to you, sea stars. She had a snake that represents a nega, right? She had all sight. She didn't need her eyes. She could see all. Okay? That's Big Mama. Y'all better make right. That's probably why they're trying to put Lizzo. Look at the name of the girl they put up. I don't like the way she looks. She's a beautiful woman. I just wish she's sexy. I'm a thickums, That's a judgment. But listen to her name, Lizzo. Y'all share that with me. Her name is Lizzo, a lizard. They're representing Homecourt advantage. When I started looking at the television shows and all these brown, big, chunkier women with coily hair, I was like, oh snap! They're already making you comfortable with that phenotype. Even as thick, when I get thick, you would think back in the days, me being smaller, more lunar males always, I attract all different males, gratefully. I attract male from all different backgrounds. But now, even as a thick copper woman, lunar males don't, they all good with everything. They come up to me and they aren't shy about it or anything. So it means that they're being influenced by something saying it's okay to breed with my type, my phenotype. Okay, because I'm in Homecourt advantage. All right, so we got Homecourt advantage, family. Welcome the new blood type. You're gonna start to see it reestablished. You can vet it out. If you think I'm crazy, if this doesn't resonate with you, all good in the hood. I don't need approval for my messages. As you see, I could piss off. But I was telling someone, my girlfriend the other day, I was like, I could piss off people in one day. I could piss off like 10 people in one day, but they know it's all love. It's all good in the hood. I'm real honest, and I keep it real. I keep it 1,000. Even with myself sometimes. Like I have sometimes, like yesterday I was feeling the FOMO. I was like, you know what? I'm a punk. I was telling myself, yes, I was like, you're a punk. You just had a massage. You spoiled. I tell myself, I keep it real with myself. My girlfriends always keep it real. That's why I come from New York. The Sea Stars, they don't, my girlfriends from all over, they keep it real with me. That's why there isn't anything that phases me much. It's not having thick skin. It's just basically being around people who keep it authentic, who are authentic with you, who authentically love you, and they aren't afraid to tell you things. This is the problem in this multimedia. I think with the millennials, I see that a lot with y'all. Y'all get mad at your girlfriends for not agreeing with you one time and then you hate her forever. That's crazy. That means you don't have authentic friendships. Friendships are ever evolving. And if you love your girlfriend, light, shine, it's your girlfriend. I see all these Waverly friendships online. I'm like, wow, she just said one thing and now you hate her and you got a whole campaign against her online. That's crazy. I told you about the times online. People get mad at me and people get mad at me for not being able to call them. And they'll put a speech. FleurBrun is a liar. She's a cult because she doesn't call me just because I don't call them. This is what I'm saying. The social media is mental illness at its greatest. The girl who tried to take down my channel, she got removed on my group, Cypher, for being disrespectful to lunar females. She was removed from one of my admins, from my admins, because they called me when I was away. And she went on a campaign for 2 years, making videos after videos talking about I'm the devil, I'm a siren, I'm a whore. Just for being, that's what I'm saying. This social media, this whole millennial behavior, y'all got to get thicker because, not everybody's going to like everything you say all the time, and it should be okay. I may have an opinion today that you may not like, but it shouldn't mean I'm hateful. Like I'm the devil because I said something that you don't like. There's people who say things I don't like all the time. I still rock with them. I don't have to agree with everything you say. That's mental illness. That's narcissism, when everything you want people to agree with everything you say to a T, or you don't give people the room to have truth or authenticity in the relationship. Authenticity should always be accepted. However, as long as people aren't being cruel to you, not always talking down to you. You know what I mean? They don't have to always say, "Oh, you're great," but they don't have to always say you're bad either. It should be a healthy balance. Like, my girlfriends, like I said, I told you, family, hair is a big deal in New York. The girls always like to have their hair done did. We used to go and I get my hair wrapped. I don't know, New Yorkers, a lot of you New Yorkers, you know this. I don't know, you probably do it in other cities too. But our big thing in New York was going to get our hair. I get my hair wrapped, wrapped, curl and wrapped. So I get curlers in my hair because it takes away the frizz, and then I get it wrapped after I sit underneath the dryer. That's a big thing. What is it called? That's like a big New York thing where I lived. So I would get my hair like that. So my girlfriends don't like when my hair is messy like this. So, they would criticize me all the time, saying, FleurBrun, come on now. You can't go out with us looking like that. Curler wrap. Yeah, curler wrap. How many times they tell me when I go back to New York, come on now. Go get your hair done. Come on, mama. They think I'm depressed. Look, I'm serious, family. Isn't that crazy? Here in Florida, nobody cares because we're in Florida. It's hot. We swim. I swim all the time. I wash my hair every day. But in New York, they say, thank you. Nobody, but they tell me all the time. No, they don't do it as much anymore. But I go back there and be like, you depressed? Come on, mama. What's going on? Talk to me. That's so funny. You depressed? Because my hair is not done. It's crazy. Y'all don't care. Wild hair. Well, listen, we going into wild hair network. That's what I'm saying. When I got on, a lot of sea stars. No, I don't think a lot of sea stars felt a certain way. It was a couple of sea stars who felt a certain way when I talked about hair last time, because I touch a sensitive chord with women of color. And what I was really trying to do is just say, I love you. I think you're beautiful, and I have coily hair. They came for me. They talked about my hair, said I perm my hair. I'm a liar. I texturized, saying that they should be able to wear weaves. I wasn't criticizing. I was actually saying something good. But that's the sensitivity, because we've been reared in a system that has projected under the patriarchy of the lunar male. He has perpetually made the woman of color feel like she's less than, even though he sleeps with her. He rapes her. She's the number one person that is covenanted. Most people don't like that conversation. I had to talk to my girlfriend the other day. I had to check her. I was like, yo, she was saying something about women of color and, their insecurity about hair or whatever the case is. But, I said to her, listen, I said, that may be the case. But I said, oh, thank you, my love. Please read my email, love. I need advice. Oh, okay. And Golden, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm behind I get so many emails. It's hard because I got a life. But anyway, my girlfriend was saying something about the women of colored hair and so on. I was like, listen, you can't really speak on that like that. You know what I mean? I was like, that comes from subjugation from years of being told. And I said, women of color have always been on the plate of lunar males. We got to keep it real, because there's been a discussion that lunar females have been number one to brown males. That's just a balancing of the beams. Because remember, slave master, all those mulatto babies didn't come from just smoke. They came from master going in there every night and preferencing sleeping with his brown slave women, right? All these, if you go to Brazil, that didn't just come from brown men sleeping with brown women. That came from European men going, and the number one women that they seek after is straight up brown women. They don't even like them mixed. Okay? The number one woman that is covenanted and sex trafficked and all the time, all over the planet, is brown women. So it is a lie that they project that she's the least attractive, but she's the most sought after sexually. If she's the least attractive, men wouldn't want her sexually. Okay? Men won't sleep with things that they don't find sexually appeasing. We got to keep it real sometimes. Sometimes conversations, nobody will have these real conversations because they really don't care to get in those, they feel they want you to like them. I could care less. I'm not here for likes. I'm here to share what I know and just share what it is. But that's a fact. So when we be careful, because there's some lunar women out there who think that they're put on a pedestal of brown men. That's just a balancing the beams. Lunar men have been all in women of colors in between their Stargate for years. That's why we have mixtures the way we look, is because of that. So we've always been sought out and that's been hidden. Now it isn't hidden anymore. Now it is overt. So we need to keep it real. So what is happening with brown men jumping ship? They're not jumping ship. It's just balancing the beams. It's been on the other side. They weren't allowed to engage in that. So they're enjoying in something that they're allowed to engage in now. And also brown women have been so subjugated and hurt that their behavioral patterns have changed as well. Okay? You know, we got to talk about real things sometimes. You know, it's not, oh, I'm meditating. Oh, I don't want to think those thoughts. Oh, but FleurBrun, you're taking it too far. I dislike when you get too real. Why are we not having these real conversations? This is a real girlfriend conversation. If you don't have real girlfriends, let me reintroduce you to this is how me and my girlfriends talk. And we look different. And we keep it real. My lunar girlfriends keep it real with me. We keep it real. There isn't any of this, oh, politically correct. If you love your friends, if you love your family, you keep it real with them. That's how it is. You won't get chasers with me. It's real. You keep it real with me. Like I said, I get criticized all the time. I keep it, and what am I going to do? Cry about it? That's your opinion. Yes, I can agree with it or not. Sometimes I got to check myself. Yeah, some of you, because I notice a lot of you sea stars don't have real girlfriends. Y'all got to have real girlfriends. You gotta get over these humps where you don't want people to criticize you because you're feeling insecure. You should be okay with your girlfriends keeping it real, because that means she loves you, and not to the point where she's hurting you all the time, but the fact that she cares enough about you to not let you live in an illusion. Okay? She don't want you living in an illusion so that you get hurt. You know how many times with my ex Nazi, my girlfriend was like, yo, this dude I don't like what he does. You know how many times my girlfriends told me that? They kept it real. I didn't stop speaking to my girlfriends because they kept it real about my husband. They said he was a clown. They were like, he's not a nice person. They told me that, and they told it to my parents. They were keeping it real, but I didn't hate them for it because they love me. They wanted better for me. So they saw something that was unhealthy. So they checked my situation. They checked him. And they made sure they told people who love me, who are more vetted than me. That's keeping it real. I want you millennials to get a little more loyal. Millennials have a lack of loyalty. I've seen it. Like I said, when y'all are screenshotting each other's personal messages and putting it on social media, that's a lack of loyalty. That's a lack of sisterhood. You shouldn't be connivingly plotting against your girlfriends. You shouldn't be doing that. That's a sign of non-sisterhood. That shouldn't be, I see it all over social media. Y'all are friends and you screenshotting your conversations. That's not your friend. Anybody who's your friend couldn't ever do that. That isn't loyal. That's a lack of loyalty, and that's a lack of trustworthiness. When I see it all on social media and these girls said they were friends and the girl was taking pictures of conversations while they were friends, that isn't your friend. That's pretty much your enemy. Okay? People who dislike you, who want to be your friend, maybe to benefit, but you millennials got to get a little more loyal. Y'all lack loyalty and you lack more sisterhood. Some of you got sisterhood down, but some of you don't. Maybe I'm a little more old school, but sisterhood, you can't be wavered. You could talk smack about my sister. If she does something crazy, I'm a checker. We're going to talk about it. We're going to cry about it. We're going to fight about it, but we still going to be homies. So long as there isn't any violations of husband, family, and friends. Okay? That's friendship. Y'all need a lesson on that, because a lot of you lack friendship qualities. You do. You're too waverly, too eager to jump ship or to walk in, to walk on enemy lines from girlfriends you call your sisters. So y'all need to get up on that. It's not a criticism, millennials. It's just my observation. I love you. You're my younger. A lot of you could be my daughters. Okay. So I'm not talking from a position of like, I'm not your peer. Okay. So this isn't a peer conversation. I'm not in my 20s. So I'm not talking to you like a peer. I'm talking to you as like a mother or auntie. I'm just saying y'all got to get right with yourself, because you shouldn't be fighting with your girlfriends. You shouldn't be slandering or doing, disheartening things. You know, you shouldn't be using your girlfriends. Your girlfriend should be like your sisters, okay? If anything happens to her, it should break your heart, okay? If anything, if somebody comes for her, they coming for you. If her man is doing dirt, he's doing dirt to you. We used to check and listen. I know I'm sidebarring. Back in the days, if your man was messing around and I knew it was your man and that was my girlfriend, I check him. I check him in front of the girl he was messing with. That's how we rolled. That's how we rolled. Because it was my heart that was breaking when I see my girlfriend being disrespected. It would break my heart. How dare you? It's like him doing it to me. How dare you? You gonna do that and you gonna do it publicly? How disrespectful. You're that kind of clown? Check him. I don't care. I don't care if he tried to put his hands on me. It didn't matter. That was my girl. That was my sister. So you play my sister, you play me. And that's why a lot of times I don't mess with some of these females out here, because a lot of them are mean-spirited. They hurt other females. They're quick to hurt other females. A lot of these women out here are very hurtful. And I check them all. You check me, I check you. If you can respect that, that's it. We keep it rolling. But that's also part of lineage. Be careful of women that come from women that are harmful. You come from a lineage of a line of women that sleep with people's husbands. You know, I say that all the time. It bothers some of you because some of you are doing it. It's wrong to hurt another person's family for your own gain or for your own ego. It is wrong. Okay? The type of person who does that lacks self-esteem. Because if you love yourself, you couldn't do to another what you wouldn't have them do to you. Isn't that a Christian thing? It is. You wouldn't have them do it to you. To hurt another woman's family or to hurt another person, that would bother you because you could see that happening to you. You wouldn't want that happening to you. So that's why sometimes I check, you guys see me sometimes check people online. I don't want to mess with people online. It's because they do harm to other sisters. I've held my same friends. Listen, one thing about FleurBrun, you could talk. I came from two loving parents. I am so grateful, and there isn't any embarrassment. I came from two beautiful, positive mother and father who love me. My daddy, I was a daddy's girl. They loved me. They treated me well. I wasn't beat. I wasn't harmed. They weren't on drugs. They weren't on alcohol. It's not to diss anybody else. It's to say I love my mother and father. They did well by me. I have girlfriends that I've been friends with since I was in kindergarten. Listen to me, family. I have some of the same girlfriends that I've been friends with from kindergarten. Some of them are on here now. That's what lets you know about this sisterhood. My behavior, where I come from, matters. My gene matters. My lineage matters. The way that I behave in my life, you can thank my parents for that. My father's passed, you could thank them for that. And I'm not even quite to the degree that I would like to be like them. I'm not even them because I've been raised in a savage world. But I'm like them. But I know about sisterhood. And I know when women do dirt, that's not somebody I want to rock with. When I see you do dirt to other sisters, I know what kind of female you are. And I know that you're going down with the patriarchy. So I'm just saying all this to say that genes matter. Lineage matters. I went on a tangent. I'm sorry. Yeah, genes matter, family. Y'all are too waverly nowadays. When I have friends that are O negative. I have friends that are O positive. Listen, I said friends. I'm not talking about people I just talk to online. I have friends. People I go to their house. They're around my children. I have friends. We got to keep it real because some of you call friends and you don't know. No, I have friends. O negative. I have friends. Our children know each other, play together. It's all good. I know the family dynamics. We eat, we break bread, everything. I have friends that are B negative. I eat the house. Our friends know each other and so on. So I have friends. I have friends that are lunar from, from everywhere. I have friends that are from lunar from Switzerland. I have friends who are lunar from Abu Dhabi. I have friends who are lunar from Beverly Hills. I have friends who are lunar that I go and drink coffee with from right here in Orlando. I have friends who are lunar that I grew up from a little girl. So I know I'm about that life. You already know I have my brown sisters. I have brown sea stars that are Jamaican, from Trinidad and Tobago, from South Africa, from New Guinea, from definitely the Congo. My homegirls from the Congo, they come up every once in a while. We're from New York. We went to college together. From the Congo. I got my sea stars from North Carolina. I got my sea stars from ATL. Of course, all my New York sea stars. I got sea stars from Canada. These are people I eat with. I break bread. Our children, I don't hide anything. My children are there. They know my whole situation with my ex and everything. These are my friends. I could be friends with everybody. Friends with everybody. I could care less. I speak. Remember, my first language was French. I talk to everybody who speaks German, French, African, all different dialects of African, Hebrew, German, Swedish, from Norway. Who else? All some of the native tongues. Obviously Latina, Brazilian. Portuguese, Italian. I know everybody. And these are my friends. Now, I'm not talking about just people online. These are my friends. So y'all got to become better friends to yourself, and it'll make you better friends to other people. That is me giving you a little advice. You don't have to take it. You can say I'm crazy. Stop giving advice. I'm telling you that's what I do. So when I show up to you, I'm all about sisterhood. My behavioral patterns where I live right now is based in sisterhood. I am a sisterhood type of person, so I can actually speak to what I deem as healthy. So when the sisterhood comes online, that's why some have a very difficult time because they're not even friends with themselves. Become friends with yourself, my loves. Once you become friends with yourself, it'll be easier for you to be friends with other women. Okay? Women aren't terrible. If you hear a woman saying other women are terrible, it's because she's projecting. That's something about herself. If you can't get along with other women, you got to make right with yourself. If you as a woman have an issue with other women, you got to make right with yourself. It's most likely a mommy issue. Usually women who come from mothers who did dastardly things or were unhealthy have rare little girls that have issues with other women. Okay? So just make right with yourself and you'll be fine with the sea stars. But it's a sisterhood. It's the matriarchy. You got mermaids. So anyone who's down with the elementals, the mermaids, gnomes, the Naga serpent, that serpent energy that's been demonized in the Bible, that's all coming on. That's home court advantage. Big Mama's coming back, family. Not only is Mother Tiamat the planet, now her name is Aquaterra. Aquaterra is coming back in alignment in a higher density. Any being that's going to be here under the hub of Big Mama is going to have to be cohesive with that phenotype, that genome, that DNA. Positive roots is in home court advantage. That is a fact. So positive roots, you will start to see a realignment of healthiness. You have home court advantage, so take advantage of that. All the billboards will be with positive roots stuff, with positive roots lineage, positive roots phenotype. You will now be held in higher esteem. You will be more protected because now you're in home court advantage. The other lineage they had their time to shine. It is now your time. Take advantage of that. Enjoy it. Don't mistreat anyone. You are now in home court advantage. It's nothing I could just say. It's going to be provable. You're going to see it. Okay. And all those who are part of those lineages associated with those positive roots will be in benefit at this time. You will start to see a lot of people want to merge and mate and have their DNA mixing with the positive roots at this time. So you're going to see a lot of positive, not so much positive roots going the other way, more so negative roots are going to try to merge. That's why you're seeing a lot of lunar males trying to merge with the Big Mama figures, okay? Because they're trying to merge into the one who has home court advantage. Okay, it's just a fact. So, check it out. So if you're feeling very mermaid-like, it's your time. If you're feeling like coming right to water, all my sea stars who are feeling very friendly with that whole energy, like unicorns, dragons, gnomes, fairies, that is all in your alignment. That's coming. That's coming into your alignment. What else? The serpents. That's all the Naga serpent. You already know because the Empress Shiva's line, she's coming back into alignment. That's one of the original 12 tribes of Shiva. That's a Hebrew line. That's a Judaic line. Okay, so the Hebrew line, the Sephardic Jewish people, they come into alignment in this neck of the woods. So you're going to see a lot of the Sephardic Morocco is going to start coming up. You're going to start hearing things about Morocco, start hearing things about Turkey, those in that arena because it's in that Mediterranean Sea. That's that blood lineage, okay? So they're going to feel that higher energy because they're in home court advantage, okay? So make right. And all those who, are cool with it, just, keep positive. And I'll say keep positive like horny, keep positive. Just keep righteous. Because you're under Big Mama's jurisdiction now. And Big Mama doesn't, y'all, if you have a problem with Big Mama, start watching some Big Mama movies. It's Big Mama. Go watch some Martin Lawrence. Big Mama, Medea, that whole Medea is wild though. Medea was loving. The whole concept of Medea, she was loving. She just was wild. She always carried a gun. You know what I'm saying? Medea had a gun in her purse. She was always going to pop off. You know what I'm saying? She said but she still is a big mama. Everybody came to her house and came to her for advice. Okay? That's Big Mama. Big Mama's here to wipe all your tears away and to hold home court advantage. Everybody should be right with Big Mama at this point. She's here with her big bosoms. That's why that big bustiness. I didn't realize a lot of that is mothership. Like my big up to my mate. My mate was saying that the other day with my bosoms. I said, it's so interesting because a lot of people make comments because I'm a busty babs, always been. But he said, that makes you so much more motherly. He was like, yes, men like that. He broke it down. It was beautiful how he said. He said men love busty women, but it's a motherly quality. He said not everybody sees that. He said they say it's sexual and it is sexual to a certain degree, but he said that's motherly. He said that's why women want to get breast implants because they want that motherly quality. He just broke it down. It's a motherly quality. Big mamas generally tend to be very busty too. You ever notice that? They got the boobs all in, or bouncing around. Big mama, because you like to snuggle with her because she's very motherly. That's that whole mother concept. You know what I mean? So make right with Big Mama because she's here and that's who has home court advantage. So O positives, OGs, we holding that home court. We're going to have to hold some integrity. So make sure you're keeping it righteous, okay? Make sure you're aligning things that would be helpful. We're going to go back to our herbalism on, I'm going to make sure I have all my tinctures. I have a thing to organize my tinctures. My mate got it for me. So I have these things to organize my tinctures and herbs. We're going to start going to herbal conversations. Remember, we're going back in home court. The collapse is happening. It is what it is. That's an old system. That is the patriarchal system. They will fall down with their Titanic is falling. Okay, cucarachas got them all scared and dropping it like it's hot. The cucarachas, they listen. Dr. Seuss, Dr. Cottrell, and all his cronies, they cucarachas. They doing this. Oh, cucarach. Oh. They all fearful of the collapse. They worried about their fake money. Fake money and fake news. That's all they're concerned about. They're concerned about their fake world, crypto, phantom currency. Just get right. Start growing your own food, my sea stars. You already know how we get down. The sisterhood, y'all know. You should be growing. We're gonna start going back to that. So I'm gonna start doing more videos. Many of you saw me on Facebook, all my gardens and stuff. We're gonna start making more gardening videos. We're gonna share our seeds, any heirlooms. We're gonna start coming together and making, collecting our heirloom seeds and exchanging. We're good. Matriarchy, you're good. Okay, because we've been set up for this. We've been cultivated. We're already that. A lot of you are gonna become mothers or mothers. We're gonna make sure we start to medically be more astute with our medicines. Remember, they've been raping our herbs in South America. Big up to all my Brazilian family, my Indigeno Brazilian family. They've been stealing from Brazil and South America for years and Africa for herbs. Okay, we are the herbalists. We're going back to that. Let's get back on our herbs. So for those, I got my tinctures, like I said. This is a new one I'm introducing. Big up to my Jamaican brethren who bring this up. Okay, so I got that one, which is my new tincture, and my busy. I love it. It was my Jamaican girlfriend who said this. Big up to her. She's wonderful. She's like, no, busy. We use busy for everything. We use it for our feet. If something goes wrong, we put it on our feet. Like when I got something stuck in my feet, my grandmother put busy on my feet. I love it. So busy is a new herb. I'm probably going to sponsor that. Every week I'll have a new herb to add to our tinctures. My mate got me a new thing, so I'm excited. It's gardening season. Remember, this is a big time for our planters and our seeds. So anyone who's heirlooms, hold on. I can't. Are you hearing sound? Is there a sound, anyone? Do you hear something? I can't see very well. I have the wrong contacts in today. I feel like taking them out. Do you hear something? That's a wind. Something? Sounds great. Okay, so we're gonna do this. So it'll be fun. So this is our home court advantage. I'm so excited. Let me say this. Let me give a congratulations to all you, because I always big up the others. Big up to all the. You know what? I lost. When I lose weight, my collarbone. Listen, my thighs. I'm fasting. This is the 7th day of my fast. Big up to everyone who's on an Aquaterra fast. I'm feeling amazing. I'm about to go get some smoothies. I did a bowl that was a smoothie, so it wasn't cheating. But I did my smoothie in a bowl because I like to eat it like a spoon because it makes me feel like I'm eating. So I did like acai I did acai pineapple. It was mixed with sea moss, acai pineapple, sea moss, mango, and a little moringa. It was so good. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. This was life. That was my smoothie the day before yesterday. Oh my gosh. Yesterday I had a acai smoothie. I wasn't too thrilled. It was okay. It was like acai pineapple time. It was okay. But that was life. That was my smoothie, and I was like, oh, this is a smoothie. But I had it in a bowl, so I made it really thick. It was really thick, and I go to Vitality Bowl a lot of times. Big up to the Vitality Bowl. They make it, and I eat it like a spoon. Oh, it was yummy. So this fast I'm really appreciating it. I'm really appreciating. This is probably the best fast I've done. I think this is more of a lifestyle because I feel I haven't felt deprived, and I got my massage yesterday. So it was amazing. Okay, so family, let me talk to the positive roost. Big up to all the OGs in the house, positive roost OGs, O's. You are now the umbrella. Please know that you're in home court advantage. You are the quarterbacks, okay? So you're the quarterbacks of this next cycle. You have a lot of responsibility, okay? Because you are holding that position. So for you OGs right now, make sure that you are keeping integrity written. You have if you need to do any new business and it's based in something healthy and holistic, it will be highly receptive and you will have everything that you need to create it. You are in home court advantage. So anything that you require as far as, abundance, it will come in. Okay. Anyone who is looking for healthy relationships as the OGs, you will be prime mating. You are the real estate, your prime real estate. So you will have your healthier choices as far as mating. So make sure you're mating with healthy others for now. I would just say to mate within your own for now. Okay. Just for a couple generations, and you can maybe in-source later. But for now, you should really take that personally. You will have many choices. So make sure you pick the best, okay, for mating. You know, I'm big about mating. So mate within your roosts, okay? So O positives, now your prime real estate, mate, you're going to have choices come left and right. Vet them out and then mate and create masterful children. Those children will have home court advantage. Okay? So that. All the other subsidiaries, B positive, A positive, AB positive, you benefit. This is your cycle. Okay? This is your cycle. You will have benefits. You will literally have things given to you easily and effortlessly. You will be in alignment. This is totally a homeopathic, naturopathic cycle. So you have to stay in that alignment in order to benefit. Okay? And you will have all that you need come to you more easily than not. Any sicknesses or ailments that you have, just listen, because all will be given to you. You've got remedies. It's almost like, Survivor 2020. You have immunity to certain things. So you will have immunity to the cucarachas. When the cucarachas come for you, because you're in home court advantage, look, the cucaracha is going to come like this. Cucarachas can't mess with you. They're going to be dancing in front of you like, oh, stop. Oh, wait. Oh, pop locking. When the pop lock, when the pop locking silver and nanobots try to come from the sky, they're going to pop lock. They're going to try to pop lock. You won't have to worry. They'll jump out of you. Okay. So pop. Oh, snap. It's trying to pop lock. It will have a harder time incepting you. Okay. So make sure you take advantage of this. This is your cycle. This is your time. You're going into the cycle when you're in home court advantage. This is a time. So for children, they will benefit. Okay. So make sure you are teaching and sharing with your children to properly mate with those within their alignment. Okay. You have all of the elementally based herbs available to you. Okay. So you need to make sure you're sitting in a very balanced position. So big up to all the positive roosts in the house. This is your shine. For all the females that are positive roosts, this is your home court. Okay? So enjoy this cycle. Everyone else, you're fine. Big up to all our negative roosts. You've always had your home court. This is a moment in time where it's going to be inverted. So you will have to feel those energies and make sure you're staying in balance. Because whenever a cycle changes, it means that there's a change of guard. Okay, when there's a change of guard, things happen. The same reason that they would do certain things to other people, you will feel that. So you have to be balanced. And know that if you're righteous, you're always balanced in every tier, every cycle. Balanced people stay fine in every cycle. So if you're balanced and you're healthy, you're on prejudice, you're on bias, you're on self-hatred, you're on a victimhood, it doesn't matter whose cycle it is, you'll be fine. So negative roots, if you're balanced, you haven't any hate in your heart, any victimhood, and you know that you are righteous, you're fine. So, but just, be supportive of the other teammates that that are having their moment in time of home court. Just be, give them, say, I'm grateful to see you guys enjoying, because I know the last cycle was very tough. Be a good sport about it. Anyway, family, it's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. It's going to be beautiful. Also, the bees. Oh, I wanted to give advice to some of the be negative and be positive, because remember, just like, you know what? My cheekbones are coming back. I just notice sometimes when I fast, I forget that I have cheekbones. My cheekbones are coming back. It's like, wait, I got cheekbones. For bees, I forgot to tell you, bees, be careful lately. There's been the more the bees. Oh, the tree just smacked the car. Okay, I'm not supposed to tell you. Let me stop. Whenever the tree did that, you see what tree just blew? Okay, I'm gonna be quiet. Just bees, be mindful of the telecommunication. It does not want me to tell you this. The wind just picked up. Oh my gosh, that was vile. Did you see that? I just threw my tree just threw a branch saying "Shut up." Ah, just be mindful, bees. Okay, that's all I'll say. Maybe I'll talk to you guys privately. Big up to all the bees in the house. Wow. It means what I was going to tell you is real. I love validation, especially from the elements. My tree was like, bam, nah, nah, son, nah, not today. All right. A's, you A's. A's, A negative. Oh, A negative, you need to be mindful of the cucarachas. A negative, that, another warning? Can I not tell them anything? I'm not supposed to tell you this? Maybe I'm not. I always listen. I listen to the elements whenever they tell me things. Because remember, I'm not supposed to, certain things are karmically based, and I'm not supposed to share things sometimes. I remember the lady that I talked to, the massage therapist, remember she told me she was here, sent by my grandmother. She said, some people, you're only supposed to get, she told me this. She said, you're only supposed to help people who give you permission, with permission, because some things that people go through is karma, and I'm not allotted to take people out of their karma. So I remember she said that. She said, you helping people without permission, universal permission, or permission from their higher self, is a violation, and the principalities will come for me every time. So I do remember she said that. So if I haven't any permission, sometimes I get you guys out of a bind. That's a bind that's meant to evolve you and make you learn. So I got to be careful with that as well. So I took that as a sign. So anyway, family, I know I sidebarred. Please put a like on the video if you like the shenanigans today and the blood type ruses. Big up to all the blood types in the house. It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. I am excited. Big up to all who joined the Aquaterra fast. It is amazing. If you lasted the 7 days, it's the 7 days. It's the easiest fast. I did the water fast 30 days last year and then went to Brazil. This one's totally different. I feel amazing. Yesterday I felt a little ungrounded. I had the massage, but the massage, I did the big up to the Turkish massage. I did the massage yesterday and I felt a little, like, afterwards I felt ungrounded. But now I feel amazing this morning. So maybe I had to purge something out. There is going to be a shifting of energies tomorrow, because retrograde ends, I think, tomorrow, Tuesday. Is it tomorrow, Tuesday? So this is going to be interesting how this is going to turn, how things will, remember, if you've been waiting for anything to happen, anything, coming, it's going to come about right after that retrograde goes, the Mercury goes direct. So big up to everyone who survived the Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde doesn't really mess with people who are balanced. It only messes with you when you're in balance. It kind of resets you a little bit. It lets you reflect on things a little differently. It's all about reflection, because really it appears to go backwards. It isn't. It's an appearance that is an illusion. Everything's an illusion. Remember, we're living in we're living in a holographic illusion. Yeah. So for anyone for the Aquaterra fast, tomorrow we start at least I start a new workout regime. So I'll be working out an hour and a half a day during the Aquaterra fast. So my system, and also my smoothies will change. I get a whole nother group of teas and smoothies. So it'll be different. So we'll see how my body reacts. But the Aquaterra fast is amazing. So If you've not joined for this fast, it is a good fast. I could detail this. The other fast, I just had low energy, but again, those were water fasts, and it was kind of like I went into ketosis. This one, I feel happier, and I feel like my hair, my skin, everything is thriving as well. Okay, so I can barely see the writing. I try to read all of your I try to read all your comments most of the time, but my eyes are challenged. Could be the fasting too. Oh, I look really copper, right? Sun. Remember, I'm getting a lot of sun. I did the massage yesterday in the sun, and I get a lot more sun. Remember, the Aquaterra fast, you have to get sunlight. So I'm always in the sun. So as much sun as there's out, like if there's sun, I'll go and lie in the sun, bucket naked. Aquaterra fast requires less clothing. Safely and without getting arrested. Please do not blame me if you get arrested, because I didn't recommend you get naked outside if it's illegal in your state. But if you can be naked and unafraid, by all means, I always tell you clothing. And also in this next home court advantage, clothing will be less necessary. Okay, because the planet is going to get warmer, it'll be more tropical. It's going to be more like she was before. Mother Aquaterra will become more, she's going to become more aquatic. So it's going to be more tropical. So it'll be like us living in a tropical rainforest all the time. So just know that with that, you're going to have a benefit. A lot, that beautiful moisture, the triple sun coming in, that heat, it disinfects the planet too. So that's why clothing is not going to be as necessary. So clothing isn't healthy for your skin either. So that way you guys will, the hotter it is, you're not going to be required. Florida, one thing I say about Florida and the tropical areas, like I said, the men get to not wear shirts, and it's healthier for them. When the guys don't wear shirts here, everybody comes here from Germany and everything. They're so happy to take off their shirts because that's the sun is a happy thing. You know what I mean? It actually revitalizes you. That vitamin D is instituted in you. You know what I mean? You thrive, you get messages. So that's what I'm saying. As it gets more tropical and warmer, remember the pole shift is happening as we speak, and the actual caps, the polar caps are melting. Remember, it's like sinkholes coming in them. So that's happening as we talk about now. It's beautiful. All that water is going to move inland. So just make right with water. Get the babies used to water. All you mommies, get the babies used to water. Make bath time, bring like the shells and make them remember this is mommy Watts is coming on. She's in assignment. Listen, the Mer family is in assignment. They're in cahoots with the Andromedans and the Nega. So they're all talking amongst each other. This is their home court advantage. They're instituting the new way that we are going to coexist. They're rewriting that. So with that, make the babies good with that. Mommies, put the babies in a tub, put a little sand, or get them, put their little shells in there, get them used to the water. So that's something that they have connection to. Okay. And read a lot of books on, the Mer family or water, and, introduce that. So that way your babies will already be written, because their souls have already chosen to come on the aqua world, Aquaterra. They've already chosen to come here. So all you're doing as a mother and a father and abuela, you're just kind of, you're just kind of being connection to that, or you're being in alignment with that. It'll be beautiful. Yeah, so we're going into the Aquarian age. We're going into Aquaterra. Aquaterra is our planet. She's ascending to back to her water world, more tropical. So try to get as much time to the beach. I always suggest, because they're trying to block, the cucaracha fears. Look. Every time I say the cucarachas, the cucarachis, the cucaracha fearmongers, they're looking at, they're telling you not to travel, family, because they don't want you going to the waterways. They don't want you meeting with your twin flames. Oh, that's another thing. I'll make a video on how they are trying to stop twin flames from getting together. Can't stop, won't stop. You're going to try, you're going to lose. The twin flames will come together regardless, because you're trying to put the cucaracha fear on everybody. Where are the cucarachas? Oh, let's make our census again. How many people got in here for 570? Even the haters in the bushes, can you participate? And like I said, let me take a sip for the haters. Let me take a sip of my tea for the haters. Haters, every time you put a dislike on my video, you send me 1,000 aspects of abundance. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm utilizing your negative energy to bring abundance to me and my children. Thank you, haters. So let me take a sip for you. Thank you so much. You're feeding my energy with more. Oh, so let's take our census now. We'll do it again because they try to lie. Has anyone here, does anyone here know anyone who has a cucarachas? Put put a one if you no, just put no. Put no if you do you know anyone who has the cucarachas personally? You met them, they've been tested, they've been quarantined. Do you know anyone who's been quarantined or has the cucarachas? Personally. We got 500 and something people in here. Please do that. Let me see. Okay, keep going. I'm gonna wait until I get a yes. Anybody have cucarachas? Or knows someone who has cucarachas? Or has known someone personally who's been quarantined? Okay, eyes of code said sort of. Okay. You have to know them personally. That means you have to know their name. You have to live next to them. You can't hear from somebody else or a friend. You have to know them personally. Like you knew your neighbor. They're in quarantine now. You know their children in quarantine. You have to know them personally. Oh, wow. Wow. There isn't one person in here. Okay, wait. We got one. Aaron says yes. Life Church pastor in Edmond, Oklahoma. Okay, Aaron, thank you. Oklahoma has one. Okay, I'm going to hold that one. Oklahoma has one. Okay, Jade, your friend's construction guy on ship. Okay, Eyes of Shade, where do you live? Tell me where you live. We got one, Oklahoma. Okay, we got another one. I know someone in Antarctica that has it. Do you know them, Magic? You know them in Antarctica? Okay, we have one in Antarctica, Northern California, and Oklahoma. Okay, Antarctica? Okay, so we have one from Antarctica, we have one from Oklahoma, and one from Cali. Okay, the majority, I'm going to go with the majority. The majority of people on here, we have 569. Not everybody did it. We had like 100 people who did it. Okay. People in the bushes, can you please participate? People in the bushes, just participate. I promise I won't do anything. Okay, so so family. Okay, so we just did a census. We did this last time. I like to do this every once in a while. Utah. Okay, wait. Andrew said Utah. You know someone from Utah personally? Utah's in here. Oklahoma. I'm gonna go with the two. West. We are in Union now. Okay. Utah. Does Utah have one? Okay. Utah. Did you say you have one? Did Utah say they have one? Hold on. Utah. Andrew, did you say Utah has, you know someone personally in Utah? Andrew, did you say you know someone personally? Okay, wait. Someone's dad. Dad tested. Okay. Dad's been sick for weeks. Okay, N30. California. No test. It could be the flu. Okay. Texas, San Antonio, several. Do you know the macro? Macro, do you know the people in Texas that are infected? You know them personally, you know their names, their addresses? Okay. No. Okay, so let's go with the consensus here. We have a few people on here who say Antarctica. Yeah, Seattle I heard is ground zero, but I haven't heard anyone personally who knew someone who had it personally. Remember, you're getting numbers from your CDC, you're getting numbers from websites, you're getting numbers from Dr. Seuss Online, AMTV. These are fear mongers. I only want to know if you know someone personally, like you know their name and address, you know them personally, and they've been gone to the news. A lot of you are only hearing this through word of mouth through news. If you haven't met this person, and I don't want to even go with your friend's friend, because a friend's friend could be word of mouth. Okay. Okay, don't know anyone who lives in. Okay. Okay, for the majority of people on here, there isn't any one person except one whose dad, who it could be influenza too. Remember, the flu is going around too. Okay, and I think, again, we can't trust their tests because it could be the cucarachis or it could be the flu, the influenza. You know what I mean? The influenza could have been the cucarachis. Who's to say that? A lot of people died this year from the flu. So it could have been the cucarachis. So I'm just saying, look at all the people on here. So when the cucarachis are going like this, listen, the fearmongers, the cucarachis are going like this online. Dr. Seuss Trell, Dr. Seuss, who's working for Harvard, who never has a job, who calls himself a doctor, but he said now he's saying he's going into medical school, PhD. Who has their PhD? I don't hear too many people with PhDs going around calling themselves doctor. That is so like he's trying to beef up his credentials. He's going to medical school. He is not a doctor in a medical sense as far as being a doctor in maybe PhD in a particular field, but he isn't a doctor as far as being in the field of medicine. Okay, so he calls himself Dr. Cottrell. I call him Dr. Seuss, Dr. Quack Quack, Dr. Quackadoodles. Okay, he's calling himself, and all they do is talk about the cucarachas all day. Look, cucarachas all day. The cucarachas are going like this, but there isn't one of you, only very few, one who may have a daddy, one who I can't confirm or deny, one may be in Utah and in Oklahoma, but out of everybody on here, no one's had the dancers called the cucarachas coming to their neck of the woods or met a cucaracha. So what does that tell you, family? But they're quarantining places. They didn't quarantine anybody with AIDS. You should ask the CDC, if you're quarantining this town, how come when people had HIV and it was going everywhere, how come you didn't quarantine them? How come when people had AIDS and they were spreading it sexually, how come you didn't quarantine them? Or the people who had HIV? Because it was illegal? Because it was against their right? How come you didn't do that? Because this cucarachis has AIDS-like connection. You know, according to the cucaracha studies, this has some AIDS-like DNA qualities connected to the RNA. Did you ever hear anyone get quarantined from having HIV? Did you hear anyone getting quarantined from measles? But there was more people with HIV than cucarachis right now. Hey, don't speed on my road. This is amazing to me. So when the CDC calls and says they're quarantined, say, how come you didn't do that for HIV? Know how many people could have saved, lives could have been saved if HIV people could have been quarantined until they got a cure? Where was the cure? Where was a sped up vaccination for HIV and AIDS? Oh, I'm sorry. They didn't have that because it was only brown people mostly dying. I'm sorry. My bad. My bad. It was only brown. I'm sorry. Those dirty ape-like people that you call monkeys. Those people were dying. Those people on the continent that you wanted their land. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You didn't want to quarantine. I'm sorry. You didn't want to control that. You didn't want a vaccination for that. You wanted to take their land, so you were happy that they were dying. All right. They can stick it up their old wazoo. The old wazoo, okay? There isn't one person on here who, except one or two, and we'd have to go through them, who knows somebody who has the cucarachis. Okay? But according to them, everybody is buying toilet paper because they're all going to poop of mass destruction. The sewer line should be on lockdown. You better get some bleach and some spit and some Clorox bleach to clean out those sewers, because all people are buying up all the toilet paper. According to you, you'll have people in quarantine all over cities. No one should go and enjoy their life because you're quarantining everyone. But there isn't anyone on a feed that has 577 people here in this room, and there isn't one person, only two or three that we have to go into, who personally knows someone with cucarachas. You got more people infected with nanobots than cucarachas. Sick. DNA matters. Be happy, family. Just do you. Live your life. Stay out of the fear tactics. This is all fear tactic. Just be careful in the meat though. They do got crazy cow disease and deer disease. They do have that. They could be using that as another test thing. So, yesterday was the first day I was actually craving. I was having cravings of meat, and I haven't had cravings for meat. So something's going on with the meat. Don't touch the meat. Okay. I'm not saying, because back in the days I would say buffalo and so on. Just be careful with the meat. Because whenever there's something that's messing with the animals, it could just be a balancing the beams, making the animals less permissible. Fish is always still an option. I come from island people. If you get wild caught fish, I always prefer you fish yourself. But that's even, if you're going to consume flesh, just be careful with the meat, the land meat, because they can incept the animals on land. It's harder in the water unless they're farming fish. Farm fish are all chemically based. And you already know frankenfish. You shouldn't mix with any tilapia. Tilapia is frankenfish. That's a frankenfish. Stay away from the frankenfish. Okay? That's tilapia. But careful, because something's going on with the fleshes lately. And the wild deer, because deer are wild, but they do things. They put a lot of chemicals and stuff in the outside. So the animals are reacting to something. And it could just be their protection. Maybe if people are fearful enough of them, they won't overkill them. You know what I mean? It's abuse, what they do. And also, big up to the Sea Star. She shared on my community. I have to say this. She went to a concert. Big up to the Sea Star. She went to a concert. You know who you are. She went to a concert, a tech, like house music concert. And her boyfriend heard a subliminal messages about getting cucarachas. Oh, look at a spider. You want to see a cool spider? Hold on. Oh no, I'm gonna put my thing up. I have a cool spider. There's a cute little green spider. He's gonna get hurt if he stays in here. Come on, go outside. Go outside. No, go this way. Go this way. Go this way. There you go. Go. There he goes. Little green spider is so cute. But I don't want him staying in the car because he'll die if he comes there. He's going right out. You don't have to kill anything, family. A lot of you like to kill insects. It's unnecessary. They're more scared of you. I used to tell my little ones, they're more scared of you of anything. So my little ones know we save them. So, you just put a little loud noise and they'll go in another direction. Stop killing things. Murder counts. Even on you think that because they're small, it doesn't count. It's karma. Okay, stop killing them. If you want to keep them out your house, put like basil and stuff around the house, the doors. You can always put seals around your house, but killing them, that's murder. That's like a murder charge. The insectillions put a notch on you. They put a hit on you. Watch Men in Black. What was it? Oh, so she went to a concert, a house music concert. Remember house music, tech music? And she said they had subliminal messages. Her and her boyfriend both heard them saying, you will get, or if you look at the image I just shared with the aliens, look underneath it, you'll read what she wrote exactly. I can't give it to you verbatim, but it says, I don't want to say it, that you will catch the cucarachas. You will catch the cucaracha. On the subliminal messages, she and her mate heard it, and then she saw people inside of there like touching them. So they bounced. They left. They heard it and they bounced. That's heightened awareness. I believe her. They go and try to make you susceptible to it. That's what I'm saying. The cucarachas is not catching like they wanted it to. They wanted you to drop it like it's hot. They wanted you to do your next remix. They wanted you to dance like MC Hammer. Go hammer, go hammer. They wanted you to drop it like it's hot. They wanted you to start doing breakdancing. You're not breakdancing yet. It's not working. The cucarachas isn't catching on. So they're trying to work with subliminal messages and so on. So just be careful when you listen to certain music and so on, because that's how they're using it with low tune, frequent, low. Oh, there he goes. It's the cutest little green spider I've ever seen. I've never seen it. It was a tree spider. It probably fell on for the tree. Yeah, so just be mindful. They're using, I told you, they're using Sank G, which is 5D, the frequencies in order to, basically spike up your vaccinations. So if you had a vaccination, whatever's inside of you is trying to activate it to give you the cucarachas, so you could drop it like it's hot. Who's that? So just, and if it's the flu, you know what to do. We got herbs. We're going to start getting our herbal arsenal on. We're going to start, trading seeds. You should be your herbalist. All the sea stars on here, all of you should be herbalists. That's what the matron represents. She represents nurturer and the healer. We are the original doctors, not Dr. Seuss, Dr. Cottrell. That's Dr. Quack Quack. We're the original doctors. You as a mother, or the potentiality, the fact that you can give birth to children, you are equipped and you are supposed to be the first doctor in your household. Every woman who has a stargate between her legs, she has the absolute right to be a physician in her household. Okay? So get back to you. Stop paying attention to these quackadoodles online. They're all quackadoodles. The man is sitting with a Harvard hat all day with 50 million screens, talking about cucarachas all day. He looks like something he actually looks like something out of a horror show. He looks like he belongs in an underground, under those underground bunkers. They probably took him from an underground bunker and gave him a new job, and he's grateful. They probably put him in a studio, gave him some real food from this timeline. He maybe is a time jumper. I don't know what he is, but he's on making videos every day about cucarachas. And then he's promoting vaccinations. Dr. Cottrell, Dr. Seuss, Dr. Quack Quack he's saying that he just got vaccinated and promoting it. Oh, I knew it was an agenda. Oh, so you're anti-establishment, you're wearing a Harvard hat, you're sitting in your house the other day, calling yourself a doctor, though you're just applying for medical school. And then you're telling us that you're all about against vaccinations, but at the same time, you're getting your vaccinations and you're okay with it. Oh, really? Oh, just call us dum-dums. Dum-dum. Do-do-do. Yay, yay, crank. Remember crank eggers? Yay, 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 crank eggers. Yay, yay, yay. High five. High five. Really? Come on now, family. We're smarter than that. Really? Only people who are... If you can't see that, then I can't help you. Once I saw the Harvard hat, it was already... Then I saw the computer. What are you doing all day? That you're applying for medical school? Just now? But you're calling yourself a doctor. You're reading all kinds of statistics on cucarachas. Right? DNA, RNA. Right? What's synthetic, what's not. It's just like people opening up schools who aren't teachers. All these people are all teachers online. I won't ever call myself a teacher. And I actually taught. My mother's an actual teacher. We actually teach in schools. I won't ever call myself a teacher. People open up schools, teaching people things, and they aren't quantified and qualified to be teachers. It's amazing. I remember when Dr. Phil Valentine opened his university, I was excited because he's actually a doctor. Dr. Valentine is actually a doctor. He can open up a university. Now you have people who are copy and pasters doing the same, and they're not qualified. What qualification? How much education did you get? You still have to have a certain amount of education to be able to teach people in a certain way, especially if you're a master at something. You got to master it, right? Crazy. This online, listen, you got smoke and mirrors online. Listen, sometimes I stay in the bushes sometimes too. I look at things and I'm like, oh, snap. I just want to go to the pole. I want to go fast forward to the pole shift and then get to the celebration because it's real Swayze out of here. You got people calling themselves doctors that aren't doctors. You got people calling themselves teachers that aren't teachers. You got people calling themselves gods that aren't gods. You got people calling themselves all kinds of things. I thought the shapeshifters were just the reptilians. We got shapeshifting people. You got shapeshifting agents out here. It's hard on these YouTube streets. You got shapeshifting agents. I know it's not funny, but I'm just like, wow. Does no one see that? You got a doctor saying he's just applying for medical. He's just now taking his vaccinations for medical school, and people are going to him for advice on cucarachas. Yeah. Nobody on here knew anybody really who had the cucarachas. This is my cucarachi dance. I'm not saying, listen, just take care of you. Have your herbs. Have your herbs online. You know what I'm saying? Keep your immune system high. Stay away from aborted fetus meat, and aborted fetus vaccinations, and you'll be all good in the hood. Okay. Don't upgrade your phones all the time. See, I tried to and see what happened. My phone got incepted. You see how the universe works? My phone got incepted. I tried to upgrade my phone and you see what happened? The whole thing just fell apart. Okay. Don't upgrade anything. You already upgraded. Why are you upgrading your phone? Your upgraded version of your phone. After the pole shift, you won't need your phone. You'll be telepathically sounding, or you'll be using pigeons, like the drug dealers do in Brooklyn. Or you'll be using those lines. Remember those phones? Remember you used to take a cup and a line? Remember you and your friends? I don't know. Am I old school? Am I that old? You take a cup with a little string and then you talk to your friends. Hey Sue. Hey Del. How you doing? I'm good. Can you hear me? Yeah, because you're right next to me. So cute. And then somebody asked me about the people who weren't able to tolerate. Someone did ask me that. I forgot to state that. Those who aren't going to be in a frequency to survive the pole shift physically, they've got the crystal cities. I forgot to mention that. I forgot about that. The undergrounds, that the inner earth has crystal cities set up for people to come, people in alignment of the same frequency. So those who aren't physically in alignment with the physical attributes of being on the surface of the planet, and really you're not going to be there that long on the surface like that. You're permeating into another existence. But the crystal cities are set up for those. Remember, one thing that, if you remember with the rainbow energy, I handle the physical shift with the rainbow energy. Neo couldn't. There was one other person who had, during the time I had the rainbow event occur, the only person, I was the only physical person at the time. Afterwards, people said they had it, but the only time for the week, I was the only person at the time who had the physical on earth interfacing with the rainbow energy. And then Neo, many of you know Neo, he's Portuguese. He had the physical, he had the interfacing with the rainbow energy off earth because he's very fair. So he had the off earth and I had the on earth. See, as you say, he's a lunar male and I had it on earth. So I had the physical because my physical, and it was Rudolph of Germany who said I could tolerate it. So it actually was able to enter into me. I think because I was physically like that of the world, how Tiamat, of the beings that lived here before. So physically it was able to interface with me, and Neo experienced it off world. That's what I'm saying. If you feel like you're out of alignment as far as what's physically the phenotype of earth, that's what I'm saying. There isn't any fear. If you're higher frequency, you're going to go into crystal cities. They set that up for, the crystal cities is something that's been set up for a while for those coming who are in the next cycle. So if there's any fear, take that out of your mind. Like I said, everybody who's in a frequency for ascension will ascend. Anyone who's in a frequency as a volunteers will transcend either by choice or they will permeate into the crystal cities. They will be entered or taken into the crystal cities. That's the inner earth. I don't know if that's probably near our Shangri-La. I don't know if it's near, because Shangri-La has a lot of that rainbow energy, or maybe Agartha. It might be Shangri-La though. But I know for a fact that's going to happen. So there isn't any fear, because a lot of people are fearful. Oh, what if I'm not matched? If you're higher in frequency and you're conscious, you're going to be you will be out of trauma. Trauma is for those who have to wake up. If you aren't awake, you experience trauma to elevate your consciousness and your awareness. That's it. If you're here as a volunteer assisting those for the ascension process, you transmute and you transcend into the crystal cities, or you transcend into your original bodies, your crystalline bodies, or wherever you came from, the other world. Some people don't want to be here. I talk to people all the time who are actually, you could tell they're extraterrestrial. You could tell they're here as volunteers. They're like, FleurBrun, I'm done. And I get it. And they said after their assignment is done, they want to transcend this physical body and go into their original bodies and their original worlds. They're ready for that. So I'm okay with that. So let's just state that. I don't want to put people scared, make people scared, or saying, "Oh, only brown people." Nah, it's everybody has a purpose. Everybody's here for their own spiritual lessons, and they have their own placements. So crystal cities have always been set up for those going into the inner earth that will be here, that will their macabre will actually, what is it, transport them into those crystal cities. And they've been set up by the inner terrestrials. That's something you can look up. If you think I'm crazy, some of you think I'm crazy, go look it up. I can't even make that up. Many of you know about the crystal cities. All of you who are part of the extraterrestrial community, the ET and UFO community, you already know about the crystal cities. So that isn't something I can make up, but look that up. Okay? So some of you will be in the crystal cities. Some people will be in the surface. But like I said, when I had the rainbow energy happen, it happened to me physically. With Neo, it happened with him off world. He was taken off the earth during the rainbow. Okay, family. It's going to sound a little ashy now. I'm sorry. My phone died. It died. So let me say this. I have to end it because you're not going to hear me. You're going to hear ass right now because I don't have the headphones and I have you plugged into my charger. Okay? So I know I talked enough. Big up to everyone in the house who came up for this video. I'm thankful that you joined me today. Big up to everyone in the Aqua Terra Fest. I have to leave because it's going to die. My phone is dead. It's like 2%. That's why it shut down. It was nothing crazy. Okay? So I love you. It's amazing. Have a masterful Sunday. Enjoy the Aqua Terra Fast if you're doing it. And for all the Aquatarians who are coming here for this shift, it's amazing. Big up to Big Mama, who's holding Homecourt advantage, all the positive roots. You holding Homecourt advantage. Big up to y'all. We shall reconvene. I'll probably come on. I've got to do a video about the twin flames, and I'm trying to stop the twin flames from reuniting. Right now, I could probably do that another day, but the phone's not going to make it, so I want to make sure I end the feed properly. So I love you. I love you so much. Love yourselves. Be positive. Go into your herbalism. I'm going to do some wonderful tinctures. I'm going to show all my tinctures on Patreon. If you want to join that Patreon, we're going to do that. We're going to have our herbalist conversations about things that are helpful. We're going back to ourselves, these stars. This is a beautiful time to start the sisterhood. Let's realign with that energy. It is our home court. So I love you. Have an amazing day, and I shall see you later. Peace.